if you can learn something from every fish that you catch during the day. I remember like B casted just super shallow, just trying different things instead of, trying the same thing over and over again, maybe not working. Like, all right, well, let's try throwing right on the bank. And you immediately hooked up. And we were like, ding.
That's it.
Don't just, if you catch a fish, don't just walk away and be like, great fish, next,
All right, let me start the countdown. 3,
10.
No.
I don't know where you went to school.
I'm glad we had that moment because Adam's peaked there. All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another Tiny Desk set. I thought we were
wait, clapping.
Not Tiny Desk
Tiny
session.
Desk.
Casting. No.
The casting table.
We are at a tiny desk. That's true.
4 dudes, tiny desk.
It's the short desk.
Yeah,
The short desk.
Short bus desk.
Short desk podcast.
the Tiny Bus podcast.
You guys are inferior
into
to
it.
us right now because we've got the headphones on. We can hear everything crispy, and you're without.
What do
Like
you
KFC
do?
crispy?
What do you do normal times when you listen to me and you don't have headphones on?
I don't. I always have headphones on.
That's not true.
They're plugged. Oh, you know what? You're right. Let's see how it is.
Oh,
It's good.
Wow.
Well, we're just here.
Here we
boys.
are.
We're back from our almost 2-week Colorado road trip.
Yeah.
It's been a long time living in this bus.
If you don't know where we are right now, it might look a little odd, but you should watch the video where we actually tour this bus that we're sitting in. It might look a little different. Some things have changed since the first and second tour.
Yes.
So this is a little table we're sitting at, kind of just a multi-purpose table. But right now it's our podcast studio. So, yeah.
So yeah.
Would you call it a short table?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to go on
Ye-
record with that.
Yes.
So just to give everyone some context, I guess this has been a long time in the works. We just finished filming Short Bus Diaries Volume 3, Colorado, and we were planning to record some podcasts while we were out there. Well, we only really got one recorded, so we're gonna try to dive deep and kind of recap the whole trip, go into depth on some of the things that maybe were covered or weren't covered, and really just I don't know.
That's what the people want. Is
talk
that
through the
deep
trip.
dive.
Yeah, deep dive, what's fresh on the mind.
Dissect the trip.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do here for you. We're going to lay it out.
Yep.
And
Start to finish,
yeah.
we went to Colorado. All right, guys. I'm gonna go.
Hey, you want to grab another beer for
yeah,
me?
yeah. Let's wrap this up. All right.
No, yeah. That's kind of the goal for this podcast. So if you guys have not watched the series yet or you haven't watched any of the videos, we don't want to spoil anything.
You should. You need to watch the videos before you listen to
Yeah,
this.
we're probably going to spoil some stuff.
Yes.
So, Adam, let's start back because this kind of started probably this happened
June.
No, even further back. I mean, we were planning to do Colorado since probably April, May, and then we had some issues with our old bus. We've had some changes the last couple
So
months.
honestly, I think we decided Colorado before we announced it to you guys. We decided Colorado in March maybe. I think March, April.
April, yeah.
So come June, we're like kind of starting to gear up. I kind of start going into short bus mode on these, like usually 2 to 3 months before we're ready to go. So we have the bus here in storage, had the old bus here in storage in Salt Lake. And I give these guys a call and I say, hey man, hey, I'm going to come pick the bus up, and they have a number you call and they'll pull your bus around to the front or whatever. And, the gal was like, hold on, can you verify like the license plate? That's how they track it. She was like, ooh, yeah, my manager's going to call you. And I was like, what's it about? She's like, I don't know, but he's going to call you. I was like, all right, this can't be good. That never starts. Like anything other than, okay, I'll go grab your bus is bad news. I was like, what in the world? Like I honestly, I figured it might be something with like our payment or something because we have it on auto pay. Anyways, whatever. Get a call back probably 30 minutes, an hour later. And the guy's like, hey, yeah, so you own that bus, right? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, that thing's not working. He was like, yeah, it's broke. It's all sorts of broke. It's leaked oil everywhere. you're going to have a cleanup fee on top of and I mean, he was very nice about it. He wasn't mean, but he was like, you need to get this bus out of here. This is the last month that you're going to store it here. I was like, well, shit. That is not what you want to have happen 2 months before we're kind of gearing up to go to Colorado. So we never even announced that at that point. We were still kind of gearing up for things, trying to get the bus ready. So that all went to just hell in a handbasket. I know you've got some footage of me calling you guys saying, yeah, the bus fucked. So we're gonna have to figure out something else. Which, I mean, in all honesty, we all kind of knew that we were gonna have to get something else. We just planned to do it after this trip, not the next trip, and go ahead and get a new bus then. So we were like, well, all right, we're gonna have to go ahead get a new bus for Volume 3. We're not gonna be able to use the old one. All sorts of different things happened. We're not going to go into it, but that thing, I went and verified it was broken. There was no repairing it. We paid so little money for it, like nearly filling it up with a full tank of gas would total the thing. So we were like, all right. But from what I'd like to know from you guys, I mean, the first two, I mean, we funded between the four of us, we funded Volume 1 and 2.
Yep.
I mean, and that was more proof of concept than anything.
Yeah.
And obviously went well.
I mean, thanks to you guys, like, we got eventually a new bus. I know you're going to get into that, but like, we wouldn't be able to do it without the support from everyone.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you guys watching and listening and being Short Bus fans, that's the only way that we kept doing this. But, well, I mean, we put all of the first one was fully self-funded between all four of us, and the second one we had very little help. So it was really cool to be able to actually go in and be planning out buying a new bus for Volume 3. Yeah. So came down to the fact we were like, well, shit, we have to buy a new bus and obviously we were gonna keep doing it. We knew we had to buy one, as I said. So we start cruising the internet again, hop on Craigslist, and I find this bus. I'm like, dang, this thing is sweet. I go test drive it, and it is out of our price range. I mean, truly, it was. I go test drive it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is so nice. It goes like, I got it up to 70 on the interstate before I bought it. I was like, holy crap, this is fantastic. I mean, I remember I called you guys, and I was like, I know it's out of our price range, Steve. It's out of the budget, but I was like, this is it. This is what we need. You guys are like, okay, all right. Let's figure out how to put the money together. So we started putting the money together, decided to buy the bus, started working on it, started doing the build, and then we were like a week out to leave almost. And that's when we got hit, that's when we decided to postpone it. We'd announced it to you guys. We had everything announced, like, hey, we're coming to Colorado. We had bought the new bus. We had started doing the build. And, I mean, how long beforehand did we put that video out?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
right around like 2 weeks maybe before we were supposed to go.
It's probably late July. It was mid or early July that I came out with Jake, our buddy Jake.
Yes.
Shout out Jerry Rig Jake. This would not have been possible without him.
Oh yeah.
And he helped us build it out and everything.
Yep.
But I think at that point we had talked to some of our friends in Colorado, and just kind of overall in the West this year is really dry. It was really hot. And
I mean, for me, living out here was it was awful.
Mm-hmm. And so we figured, let's not go to Colorado when we can't, when it's going to be low water, warm water. There's not going to be as many floating opportunities.
Yep.
There's not going to be as many fishing opportunities in general. So let's postpone to October.
Right.
And then that is where we are now.
But that was a good thing, though, because it allowed us to work. Or you guys, I didn't. If y'all put me up to this task, it would not be like it is. But it allowed more work to be done on this bus. And as you can see in the tour video, it looks pretty good. Looks really good.
Yeah. I mean, it functioned.
And very different from the other bus, too, because when we first got that last bus, if you go back and watch kind of the build, was that in Volume 1 where we kind of had some of the build out? I mean, it was already kind of being used as a camper. So, honestly, it was relatively easy compared to this, which if you watch the first video of this, you'll see it was a bus. I mean, it was seats. There was nothing but bus. So the amount of work that we did in here was huge.
And we spent what, 4 days?
Yeah, 4 days, just
Working on
that. I spent 2 months working on it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty solid. I mean, especially for our first trip, getting it out of the way. I mean, I'm extremely happy with the build and the layout, really the design. There's obviously some stuff we need to polish. And we've got a ton of awesome opportunities to upgrade, too, because we've got a lot of awesome plans for this bus. Obviously, we weren't just going to, first thing out of the gate, go 0 to 100, put everything on the bus that we had plans for. I mean, we wouldn't want to do that. So, but I thought for the Colorado trip, it was perfect. I mean, the layout, everything functioned. We got a couple little things like, the rod racks, and we got a couple small little tweaks to make, but
Some
honestly,
kinks.
nothing big.
And this was huge for us. Like, I'll go ahead and say we did have like somewhat of a follow car with the last bus, because when you spend $1,800 on a crappy bus, I mean, you're just bound to have some issues. And like it was not smart not to have like some sort of follow truck.
And for where we were, it's not like we, if we were just trying to go somewhere local in it, I think we would have been fine. But
I mean, we drove 52 miles
off the grid,
dirt road
Yeah.
into the backcountry.
I mean, I mean, you can see why it ran all of its fluids out of its.
Yes.
I mean, we did put it to the test, and it was on its last leg anyways.
Right.
It had seen some pretty dark days before we got our hands on it.
Yes.
Yeah. 1993.
Yeah. But really the goal, I feel like, for this trip was to get rid of that follow car.
Yes.
And to do it totally independent on the bus, our build, just our trip, just the bus and the road. And
We did it.
We all could
yeah, we
travel.
did it, and it worked perfect.
Yeah.
I think we were actually honestly a bit fortunate too that the bus crapped out on us and we got the new one here, because we got in some dicey situations going through Colorado that old bus would not have handled. There's no way we'd have gotten up over that pass in that snowstorm. There's no way we'd gotten up to that campsite that we were trying to get to in that old bus.
You wouldn't have started the bus.
Oh no!
Like we might still be there until May of next
Yeah.
year.
It would be like a 10-part series.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Well, we're still stranded.
we're still here in
still
Colorado.
here.
We're camping out.
We've
until
bought an
the
Epic
summer.
Pass.
We live here now.
Yeah.
If anyone
has
needs
turned
us, we're
into
at this boat ramp.
Yeah, this has turned into a skiing episode.
Mom, mail me my skis, please. No, but I mean, that old bus would not have been able to do this Colorado trip. The Colorado would have looked very, very different out of the old bus.
Mm-hmm.
We would have stopped in Grand Junction and then come back.
Probably just left the bus there.
Maybe, yeah.
We'd have hitchhiked our way back.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this thing carried all of our gear, and we had dry storage and wet storage. We have some storage lockers under the bus, which was huge, because you all know, like, when you're traveling with waders and wet boots and wet clothing, it's not good to have that in the common area up here. And so we had just the perfect amount of storage. I felt like we're going to probably make some more, but
Yep.
I mean, I remember just having wet shoes on the old bus.
Yeah. There's nowhere to put them.
It was awful.
Yeah.
That
It was like a shipping container on wheels, where this is, the build with the storage over here. I mean, the storage that we got below the bunk here. I mean, it's so massive.
yeah.
And I think we utilized the space a lot better.
Yes.
In the last one, it was already built out with kind of beds on the both sides.
Right.
And we made bunk beds, but those beds were 8 feet long or something. It was way
Yeah.
too long for what we needed.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I remember when you or Jake brought up the 3 bunk idea originally for back here. I thought I thought there's no way we can fit 3 bunks on one side, but it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Steve, Brian, and I got to stay on one side, and then you had the top and the other with all the storage.
Yeah.
So I thought that worked out really well.
Yeah, that whole area up there is awesome for being able to have all that
Yeah.
storage. Is crazy.
I'd like to go on record saying I could use a little bit more room down there. So it's a little bit tight. You had a little bit of brown water in the evening. You try to get in there. Next thing you know, your knee shoves into a support beam, and it hurts.
Well, you can talk that one up with Jake.
I'll just put some foam padding around your area.
I'll be seeing. I need you to round out the corners and put some padding on it for me.
I'll do that.
All right. Let's get back on track with the bus story, the Volume 3 bus story. So we left off at the build, and y'all built it out great. And then what? We had to wait.
Yep. So then we delayed the trip until October, which was great. Gave me some more time to kind of work through the bus. Spent a lot more time kind of putting some finishing touches and polishing some stuff, getting some things right. Finishing up some of the upgrades that we decided to do. The biggest one being that electronics, so that we could charge, was so big. But once we kind of had the bus set, ready to rock and roll, I had plenty of time since we did postpone it. Actually turned out to be okay for us. So you guys flew out. The bus was ready to rock and roll. All we had to do was load it.
Mm-hmm. Then we took off and made our trip to Colorado.
Yeah.
With our first stop, I guess we stopped in Glenwood and met up with some of the boys from Golden's.
Yep.
Which was fun. And I guess what did you think as we were driving? Because you did the majority of the driving. But what were you kind of thinking going in, taking the bus on the first trip, our first drive with everything in here, the boats attached and all that? What were you thinking when we were kind of pulling up into Colorado?
I mean, it definitely weighs. The old bus weighed a lot on me, and even this bus, especially just starting out, was a lot of stress because it's like, well, damn, I know, like I'm the one driving. I mean, I was the one that built it out. I mean, I know if something happened, a lot of it would be. I mean, not that you guys don't have any mechanical, expertise.
I don't.
And not that I'm a mechanic, but on the flip side, I also know that if anything happens, like bus is dead on the side of the road, you three are going to be looking at me like, so what are we doing, Adam? What's the plan?
And something did happen.
I do remember.
Like, on the drive in.
On the drive in, yeah, I remember that. Well, so anyway, so starting out.
Adam's never been to a roundabout, guys.
Yeah, I don't know how those work. No, it was that lady's fault, not in that red Prius or whatever she was in. God. We'll get there in one sec. So, I driven it around Salt Lake, driving it to the fab shop, having the guys, kind of run up. I don't weld. Having those guys, kind of weld up our trailer hitch, weld up these boxes. I drove it to get emissions. I drove it to the DMV, all sorts of stuff. So, I'd driven it really short trips around. Knew how it drove, which was way better than the old one, but had never driven with the trailer attached and had never driven further than like 15 minutes from my house. So really was crazy. Oh, there he is.
Hey,
there's a
dog.
Little dog intrusion.
Was really crazy. Just like first big trip, having everything in it, loaded all of our stuff up, loading the trailer, and then driving it for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So that was pretty wild. Well, anyways, we kind of roll into this traffic circle, and I had the right-of-way, but where someone was supposed to, however the traffic circle was working like this, we were going right. Well, this person had that like exit-only lane where she had to turn out of the traffic circle. Well, and I had the lane where I could drive in to the traffic circle, and she didn't take her exit that she was supposed to in the circle coming this way. And I was going because I had the right of way, and she wasn't supposed to cross it. Well, anyway, so she started coming across. We were getting really close to, hey, go.
Winston, go.
Gotta get the dog out of here.
We were getting really close to Walmart or wherever we were going to grab some food. And you were standing up front, just navigating and getting some shit put up. Anyways, this lady ran her exit, and I had to slam on the brakes. She was going to hit us had I not hit the brakes, and hit it so hard that Scotty fell over, hit the ignition key, broke the key off in the ignition. And so the bus is now dead. It turned off when that happened in the ignition. So the bus is now dead with a broken key in the ignition.
We are barely in Colorado at this point.
Like, we had not even
rough.
gotten out of the truck in Colorado. And we're like dead at this roundabout. in the middle of it by this point, like had pulled out a little bit. So I put on the flashers and I'm like, oh shit, what do we do? I tried to start it with a pair of hemostats or pliers, fishing pliers, whatever. Tried to start it. It started, but it didn't run. I don't know what the deal was there. It
Didn't have the magnet.
didn't have enough juice, something. I don't know. Well, so anyways, I yelled at Steven. He ran to the back to the fly tying stuff. Thank God he found a pair of hackle pliers that was perfect for the job.
Oh, perfect fit for those.
Because I couldn't grab them with the real pliers. He came back, gave me that pair of hackle pliers. I was finally able to pull the old key out, and we had a second set of keys made that was in reach, just happened to be in reach of the ignition. Grabbed a second set of keys, put it in, turned it on, drove to Walmart, got another key made.
That's right. Luckily we had that backup key. So,
Yeah.
but that was that was
First.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it kind of created a little bit of stress there.
Yes.
And then even going into the next day, like, we couldn't really find a place to camp. So we had to like camp at this truck stop on the side of the road. It's been a long time since I've done that. I've been out of the card camping
You're
game
missing out.
for a while.
You're absolutely missing out on the fun of that.
Am I? How much car camping do you do right now?
I mean, it's been a year or so, but yeah.
But the stress was kind of like an all-time high, and even going into like the next morning, we hadn't hardly like put the frames on the raft. We had them stacked in a weird way, and like nothing was set up. And then we meet these guys from Golden, and it's like they're like, "Oh, let's go. We're ready to go right now."
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. We're ready to go fishing.
And we're like, "Whoa, our pace is a little bit. We're on bus pace. We're not on y'all's pace. Like, we got to slow down for a sec." And it's always hard meeting up with people that fish because you don't know if they're like especially when you're filming and fishing, it's like such a slower pace than when you're just fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you never know who you meet up with, if they're like a go, like, "See you guys, we'll see you tomorrow." We're gonna just go ahead
Yeah.
miles in front of you guys. But it was really cool to meet up with those guys from Golden, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we don't really ever put in before 10 o'clock."
They were super cool,
Yeah,
and
they
were-
do some filming too, so they were
Yeah, shout out
already they knew
Davis.
the pace.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
knew the pace, and it ended up being okay.
Yeah.
But Adam was, I could tell, a little
Ooh,
stressed.
yeah.
I think it just everything with the bus, everything moves a little bit slower, and so we have to always take that into account. And we're trying to get all our filming stuff together on the first day, which is just all over the place. We're trying to get all our fishing
Boats
stuff,
were-
our boats. We're also trying to at the same time get to know these guys from Golden's Fly Shop that we've just met 10 minutes ago. And fortunately, they were super cool and super, just understanding of us taking a little bit slower time.
It was great. They had rafts too, so
Yeah.
they knew the.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys hopped on our boats and started putting stuff
Yeah.
together too,
Yeah.
which
Huge
was
help.
great.
They really
So-
helped us
So we
out.
fished with
Huge.
Connor, Davis, and Brent the first day.
Yeah.
Brent from G. Loomis. And that was fun to talk to him
Oh,
and
yeah.
get to meet
Yeah,
him.
cool guy.
And so we had our float that first day once we finally got on the water, and it was just muddy. I mean,
Yeah.
Ooh, that
The
Mississippi
water was-
darkness.
and I don't know, whenever you go into a new spot, it's always tricky because you know how you fish, right? So we have had success in certain ways in certain places before. But then you come into a new spot, you don't know the fishery, and especially with it being so muddy, we didn't know that first day where the fish are sitting. We didn't know where the ledges were. We didn't really even know where the deep water was. So we were almost fishing blind, I felt like, for the first half of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't see it. It could be like maybe a couple inches of water, and
Could be 10 feet of water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just couldn't see.
And-
But the fish could see somehow.
Yeah.
Fish knew.
So they did.
We got a couple.
You guys
right off the
dialed
bat.
it in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Streamers
got-
worked for us right off the bat.
Yeah.
Are you surprised by that?
Nope.
Not at all.
Yeah. Y'all caught some. Steve, what did you catch? What?
I caught a buzz.
No,
Nah,
you didn't. Tell them what you
You
caught.
caught something else.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are too familiar with our previous trips, but I have a beautiful knack for catching bottom feeders on streamers. I don't know what it is about it.
It's your personality.
I'm extremely lucky and extremely unlucky in that sense because I will have them come out and hunt down a 6-inch streamer. I'd never seen it before. Never seen anybody else do something like that. Not bragging. I'm a little ashamed by that. But, I got a nice brown early on. Thought it was going to be a great day. And then next thing I know, I thought I hooked into a pig of a fish. And next thing, we pull this thing up, and it's like, oh, that's a thick bottom feeder.
You're like, you might want to come over here and start filming. Start, get over
Scotty's sitting there like
you hooked
on
up
the
on-
seam, just like posted up, like filming us go through, hook into a fish. Perfect setup for his filming and everything. Hey guys, this is a good one. Come on over here.
I think I was filming.
Was that you
I was
filming?
rowing.
Yeah. And like y'all got like 3-4 boat links from us, and I finally get it further enough up out of this chocolate mud.
Don't come
that I
over
can see
here.
it. And I'm like, God, don't worry about it, guys. Just don't look at it.
Come on, nothing to see here.
Oh man, that
And
thing was nasty.
You let it kiss the lens too.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna make me pick it
Little
up, I'm
smooch.
gonna make sure you have to clean your lens a little bit.
The native sucker of Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
We love it.
Some thick
First
DSLs on
fish.
that one.
Of the trip.
It was not. We
that
got
was-
a brown.
no, you
trout.
guys-
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
caught a brownie before that.
That was
funny.
so funny.
And then to cap that off, later on in the trip, I hooked into what was that, like a razorback chub?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I can't remember which one of them it was.
And I've caught chubs back home. They're like, what, 6-inch chub might be a big one. It's just like one of those trash fish you catch. I mean, this thing was like 2-3 pounds, like everything of like 20 inches. And I'm just like, I've never caught one before. And I was like, what the hell
What
is this
is
thing?
this?
And thankfully, those guys from Golden was like, oh, yeah, we know what that is. Showed a picture, but yep, razorback chub. I was like, well, fuck.
We saw it coming in, and we thought it was a big. I mean, it was a pretty big
Oh, yeah.
fish. We thought it was a good fish. It was coming in, and it had that kind of like olive back, silver sides, and it had pink on the bottom of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh, that's a good bow.
Yep.
We thought it was a brown. We were like, oh, that's a good bow. You start getting in, you're like, no, it's not a bow. It's something else. I was like, no, look, like it's had the
It didn't
pink
have the
and
shape?
everything, and get it in, and we were like, what in the world is that?
yeah.
Good job, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that was the first day. And fortunately, I mean, Brian and I really didn't catch anything that first day until.
Mhm.
I mean, did you caught one? I think right, one or
I
two.
don't even know. Maybe I did. I hooked a nice one.
Oh, that's right. That's
and,
right.
Our friend Ashley left us some tippet. I'm gonna blame it on the tippet.
Rio Tippet.
Thank you.
We're not gonna shout out any company names, but it just broke clean off. I don't know what it was, but I kind of gave it the business, but like
It's 4X. It should have held.
yeah, it should have held. It gave me like a huge run under the boat, and like several big runs, and then it just did like the laziest run, and then it just snapped. And it was just,
Yeah.
So we got to see it, but it just didn't quite work out. And then later on, Scotty caught a really nice one. It was like probably a 20-something inch fish.
Colored up.
Super pretty.
Yeah, very orange and
Prettiest fish of the trip.
oh, yeah,
Oh,
had
yeah.
to be. Beautiful colors.
Yeah, one of the bigger ones of the trip too.
Mm-hmm.
So first day.
Yeah, and I think there's always this added pressure, at least for me, when we're fishing and it's slower fishing, and obviously these films are more they're about more than just the fishing, right? But that's always what's kind of bringing us to a lot of these places. So it's always this added pressure when you're trying to film and the fishing's slow and maybe you're not getting shots. So I felt a lot of that pressure that first day, but that catching that big one at the end was so rewarding, and it was like, all right,
Yeah.
we figured something out. We got, I missed a bunch of fish right towards the end leading up to that fish and finally hooked him.
Yeah.
And we started to kind of get the streamer fishing dialed, which I feel like this trip in general was a majority a streamer fishing trip. I mean, it's fall.
I mean, they own a streamer company, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
But we all, I mean,
What
we
they're
love
gonna
to
use.
streamer fish, right?
Yes.
And especially it being fall and out west, the Browns are active, as we saw throughout the trip. So that was kind of the goal. Sometimes we weren't going to catch many fish, but hopefully we were going to find those predatory bites.
Yeah.
But that kind of ended the first day, and then we ended up getting the bus up. I thought this was a big step for the bus that night. Getting to that campsite,
I did not.
we
like
climbed some serious elevation,
that. Yes.
and it was really sketchy.
Unpaved
Bus was
roads.
getting hot. It was running hot. It wasn't super hot outside, which is honest to God like one of the only reasons I did it. There is nowhere to freaking camp in Glenwood Springs.
Yeah.
Do not go to Glenwood Springs unless you have a hotel room. Like it is
Or if you have
ridiculous.
4-wheel drive.
Like, yeah, this place, I did not like going up that thing. It was dark. I couldn't see anything. The road was not only super washboardy, but I mean, it was a brand new bus. I mean, now I trust it. I mean, I would fire this thing up and drive it to Alabama tomorrow now, knowing, I mean, after what we just did, I was, yeah. But still, brand new. It was overheating. Oh, it was awful. I couldn't see. Those roads were sketchy. I mean, if our brakes failed, we were dead.
Yeah, there was
We
a
were
drop
dead.
off. To the
We would be
bottom.
on the news right now instead of this podcast.
Mhm.
4 rednecks killed in a short bus in Colorado or whatever. I don't know what the news would say, but I mean, I did not like that. I would not go back up there in this bus even today, knowing what I know now.
I could feel the stress.
I would have I
through-
would still just go back to that interstate ramp and go to sleep for
Yeah.
just a couple hours before I went back up there. Was not worth going up.
Your face had definitely lost some color by the time
Oh,
we got up there.
it was
we all
it was
we
great.
all could feel
Oh.
how stressed you were, and I even just
Yeah.
driving in it, we could, the gauge kept going up and up,
and
up,
then
we're
that coolant thing
shit.
would hit the radio. All of it would open up, and then you would lose all the power.
Yeah,
I mean, the temp would drop like crazy when that thing would open up, but then you would lose all sorts of power. The transmission was getting hot, not just the engine. Oh, it was awful.
But-
I would not do it again.
but it passed the test.
It did
and
pass
so I
the
think they gave
test.
us a lot more confidence with
first
the bus.
Yes, the first
first.
real test. I mean, other than driving 6 hours in it,
Yeah.
the first real test was that hill.
Mhm.
It passed. I wouldn't do it again. I don't like it.
Cool campsite though.
Was an awesome campsite.
Sick
If I was in my
campsite.
truck, 100%.
Yeah.
I'd just rip back up there.
Mhm. So the next day, so our buddy Scott met up with us. Who, if you guys have seen some of the old videos, he was in the Idaho series from last year, and super good buddy of mine. So he met up with us. He also works at Golden's. So it was him, Davis, and the owner of the shop, Justin, met up. And so we went and fished another section further upstream that next day, which was honestly a really pretty section, and the water was much clearer.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But I hate to bag on their spot, but it wasn't. It was a cool spot, but
Yes.
it wasn't like the best day of fishing.
No. Part of that was the rainstorm that came in as
Yeah.
well.
I'm sure it's a great spot.
I'm
Like,
sure it is.
It looks
I-
so cool.
I've always had luck with consistent weather, be it consistent good or consistent bad. I rarely have luck in kind of flux weather. And that's kind of what happened. As soon as we showed up, like this rainstorm kind of came in, stuff started getting, I mean, pressure changed, cloud cover rolled in, really big change right off the bat as soon as we launched. And it was not good. It was not a good day of fishing.
Well, I mean, the
Towards
last
the
2
end.
hours, yeah.
It really picked up once it got a little more consistent. We missed a ton of fish, just couldn't get these fish to commit. We
Mhm.
tried the kitchen sink at that point, but ultimately overall was one
Oh,
of
yeah.
the worst days of fishing that we had there on the entire trip.
I think the last 2 hours, though, we probably, you and I, at least on our boat, we missed more fish than we could count.
That's true.
And we started to notice all the fish were eating in really shallow water.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Right when the
shallow.
fly would hit the water. We were
Right.
fishing the sculperino,
Yeah.
that natural
Right.
colored,
Yeah.
was wrecking, but it just wouldn't keep fish on.
They weren't eating.
No.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't that it wouldn't keep fish on.
Right.
Like it's not like you hooked them and halfway to the boat. I
Yeah.
mean, you'd be a bump or you'd see the swirl or the flash or whatever, and just nothing.
They're just bulldogging it, man. They're coming
Yeah.
up with mouth closed, just either aggressive strike
Bump
or
it.
kind of a inquisitive strike on it, but they weren't in the feeding pattern for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that ate the fly and we
Yeah.
landed. We hooked and landed.
Mhm.
Versus, but that kind of was the story for the rest of the trip too.
Yeah.
It had that the all rest of the trip.
Yeah.
But then the next day was Brewery Event.
Yeah, we had to book it.
We had to get out of there pretty quick. We had a pretty good drive over a pretty serious mountain pass, didn't we, Steven?
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so a little background for me. As you guys know, I'm from Alabama, and I haven't left the great state of Alabama unlike Adam has, or B has. So I have no idea how to drive in snow.
You never left the state of Alabama.
Never. This is my first time
Here
ever
it is.
leaving the state.
Okay.
Anywho, I have no idea how to drive in snow. I've driven it in twice in my life, and that was Alabama snow, so that doesn't really count.
That doesn't count.
Not at all. And so I'm driving up over the mountain pass. I believe it was the Vail Pass. Someone
Yeah.
will probably correct me on my geography here because it's terrible. But
It's like 12,000 feet.
Oh yeah, the rain quickly turns from rain to sleet into snow, into what I consider
Legitimate snow.
a actual blizzard. Like you can't see through the that far ahead of us, and at the same time, one of our windshield wipers wasn't not that it wasn't working, wasn't hitting the window. So the right side of my windshield was just frozen with sleet, snow, whatever you want to call it. So I'm like half visibility. Going up this massive incline in a bus. It doesn't want to go up this massive incline. It's overheating in 26-degree weather with snow coming down.
Well, now, it's running hot. It is not overheating.
Okay,
At
sorry,
least,
running
it's
hot.
not mechanically overheating in a bad way, but it's running very, very hot.
Thank you for the terminology.
Yes, sorry.
No, I'm glad you.
I just
corrected
don't want
me.
the people to be like, oh, it overheat, it overheated. And no, it wasn't. Didn't break. There was nothing mechanically wrong with the bus at that time.
Fair enough. But yeah, I'm rolling up in this, and I'm just like white knuckling on this thing, and to the point that if we went off the cliff, I'd still be attached to that damn steering wheel. You could have put a coal up my ass, and you could have gotten a diamond by the time we were done with that. It was so tight.
Wow.
It was clenched.
Wow.
That's pretty tight.
Oh, it was tight.
Blue line diamonds coming.
Coming at you soon.
Yeah.
Scotty's up there trying to get shots and interviews, and I'm like,
Nope, shut the fuck
up. Just let me drive. Just let me drive. And
As you're going 30 down the
oh,
interstate.
I'm doing 30. I passed 2 people. I was proud of that.
It's so funny. You'll probably see several drone shots from this trip, and there's just a line of cars behind the bus.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
So funny.
It is a new bus, but it's still a bus.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not a Lamborghini. By any
No,
means.
you're not taking these curves fast.
Lamborghini bus.
These
But
happen,
we-
hopes.
So-
Volume 8.
We rolled up to the brewery, and this was something that we've never done. This is the first brewery event or meetup or whatever you want to call it that we've ever hosted or put together. And I think it was a really cool addition to the trip because
Yes.
it added more to just fishing, the whole time.
Yeah.
And so we rolled into shout out to Four Noses right here. Cheers, boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
We've
These
been
are the
drinking
guys.
this. We've
Never
been drinking
tried
these
it.
beers
Yeah,
for a
good.
long time now.
They partnered up with us. These guys are awesome. Shout out to Dustin, his wife. They helped us
Yeah.
out a ton to put this event together.
Cool brewery if you're in the Denver
Yeah.
area.
Yes.
Broomfield, if you guys ever get a chance to go,
Four
great people
Noses.
there, great beer,
Yes.
and you guys freaking showed out.
Yeah.
It was such
Nobody-
a cool
Insane.
event.
I will say, anyone that came, I'm sorry because it was very unorganized.
Yeah,
Because we thought about maybe half of the people that showed up might show up.
We thought maybe 5 people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
including
10,
us.
Yeah, including yeah.
yeah.
But no, people showed up and the merch table wasn't ready.
We got in late.
We got in a little
Yeah.
late. We got in 30 minutes before it was supposed to start because of Steven not critiquing your
of-
driving.
I mean, you guys were
Because
having
of
lunch
that
in the back
storm.
and let the Alabama kid drive to this snow. All
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
That's on you.
Chipotle
bad.
was really good.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
I just
Go.
at one point during the meetup, I just look over, and this is very, very early on, and I see this fast motion, just
Blur.
rapid blur, and I look over there, and Steve is carrying shirts and hats and running from one end of the table to the other. And poor Steve just got bombarded with people, and there was a line all the way out the door.
I
man.
was trying to get in there to help, and I got stuck in the bus, and I couldn't even make it into the brewery for the folks that were talking to us and asking questions and stuff. And I mean, it was awesome. It was.
Yeah.
I could not believe how many people showed up. It was an incredible event. But I think the biggest takeaway was that we learned. We got kind of a system dialed since this was the first one. We took a lot of notes away from this one. So the next couple that we do, I think, are going to go so much smoother.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so.
And I think what happened was really we just got in late. We were setting up the merch table. People started showing up
Yes.
and just started talking. They
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
say what's up and hang out. And
Yeah.
we were trying to put stuff together. And then we don't. After a couple minutes, it's I'm outside talking to people. Brian's somewhere talking to people. Steve is stuck behind the merch table.
Steve got stuck.
And all these people are bombarding him.
I had to put my retail pants on for
Yeah.
that one. I showed up there I'm trying to get some pictures and stuff, talk to some people, give a bus tour or two, came in there to get some pics of Scotty behind the table, and then got our little our card integration set up and everything. Next thing I know, Scotty's just gone, and I'm just behind the table. And
Yeah,
people are
Scotty
coming
got
out,
stuck outside with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm just like, okay. Hey guys, I'm Steven. And so let me just go ahead and say I apologize to everybody that wanted to come up and have a great discussion with me because I did not have time. That line was out the door and it was wrapped around the building. And I mean, it was great. I loved seeing that. But like,
The fans showed out, dude.
I was trying to roll through that all, and I
Epic.
just like felt bad because people wanted to talk and talk and talk, and I wanted to sit there and have these great conversations with you guys. But there was no one else behind the table for
Well,
me.
next time we need to have someone that is not us running our merch table,
Yes.
so that we can kind of talk to you guys and answer questions, be out, and
I feel like I missed out. talking to some of you
showing the
guys.
bus. I did quite a few bus tours, things like that.
What did y'all think though? Getting to interact with the fans and getting to talk to people who follow our stuff and enjoy our work. What was it? What was the experience like for you guys getting to talk with everyone?
Oh, it's so cool being around like-minded people that just love being outside and just love the concept of this series right here. Is a total DIY series, and I feel like a lot of the people that showed up, encapsulated that, and they stand for what this whole series stands for.
Yep.
It was just cool, and it was easy to talk to everyone because you're just any fisherman can shoot the shit about fishing. It was just like, oh, how's the fishing been? Oh yeah. And like it was just very smooth conversations, and we were all on the same page. It was just really cool, really neat being able to connect to a bunch of like-minded people.
It blew my mind seeing the amount of support and love from people out there. I mean, we see the statistics, we see the numbers rolling in on the videos and all that kind of stuff, but that's very, bland. You don't really get to put a face to that. But when we got out there and actually got to see everybody, and you see all the, start having this conversation with people, I was like, holy crap, these people love this stuff, and it really kind of touched me. Got little goosebumps coming up there, and I was just like, this is awesome. Like, I really love this, and I'm enjoying it. And, to your point there, it's very nice to be able to just have a conversation with these people and be able to shoot the shit about fishing. And just, just talk to them, meet some new people, and just have fun. Like, it was a blast.
For me, it's we've talked plenty of times before, about how the short bus started and all that. This is something we probably would have been doing anyways. But obviously it's very different than if we were to just pack this bus up and go fish ourselves. That would be a fun trip. Not that it's not fun to do the short bus, but what we do is work. It's hard work. And then there's a lot on the front end for us, and then there's a lot on the back end for y'all. And I don't know, seeing the people and how hyped people were, it was like, I don't know, sometimes I kind of think, I'm like, is it worth it? Like, all this work. That kind of ran through my head a few times. We were, buying this new bus. It was out of our price range. Spending so much time and quite a bit of money redoing the bus and getting the bus set up. I was like, God, is this worth it? Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had that thought. Like, man, what are we, like, is it worth doing all this crap when we could just put this thing together and go fish? But then seeing everyone, having the people come and talk to us, being, just talking about what parts in the videos they liked, or what other films that we did that they liked. And a lot of people, of course, loved the last short bus film, and I answered a lot of questions about it. But talking to you guys actually in person, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is actually why we do this. It's definitely not for us to go fish.
Mm-hmm.
We've said that all the time. We would love to pack this freaking bus up and not bring a single camera one time and just take it out and go fish. But not that we would never do that, but
we will probably
do that. But it definitely struck for me that next time I'm like, man, is this free? Is all this work like worth doing it for this? It was like, yeah, it is.
It's so cool too that like this series, I would say this series primarily has been like a viewer funded thing.
Yes.
And it's so cool to be able to talk to the people that have helped funded this thing.
Yes.
And it's just so cool to see the support.
Right. I
thought it was super motivating too, just from, like you said, there's things that you just don't really think about when you're putting together a video. Maybe it's subconscious or just kind of goes over your head. You put the video out, right? You see some numbers, and it's like, oh, great. People are watching it. You see the comments.
People like it.
But you get to talk to people and see how genuinely interested they are, and how you hear from people that they got into fly fishing because they found our videos and they like what we're doing. That touched me so much and was very motivating. Like, okay, we're actually able to make a difference and hopefully help people enjoy the sport as much as we do. And it doesn't have to be how we do it, but it's just they can find their own path into doing it. And especially seeing the kids that were there. We met a bunch of kids that came.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Just, because, demographics and stuff, it doesn't really click. But to see kids, there was 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds.
Well, and the thing there too is probably from our statistics, and I actually brought this up to someone that I talked to, was our statistics show the count that is watching, not the people that are watching maybe on the same TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, dad might be watching the show, but their daughter watches with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, it doesn't count, the daughter's YouTube, presence is watching. It counts the dad's. And same with the ladies that we've met, too, a lot, because we get I heard, we had a bunch of lady fans show up that if you look at our numbers, we do not have a very big female audience as far as the YouTube numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people have said, oh, well, this is the only fishing show that I will watch with my significant other. And so you're getting the significant other's YouTube account watching it, but you're having multiple people that are gathering around watching together off of one TV or one account. And so the numbers are, I'm not saying something's unfair or whatever, but the numbers are skewed when you look at the YouTube statistics on who is watching these videos, because you're getting the kids and a lot of girls watching the videos too, mostly for Bryant, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely, Bryant.
Well,
yeah.
if you want Bryant's, you know where to find him. Be our Pat on Instagram.
But no, I think it was really cool, and there were so many more kids, and to your point too, for me, there were so many more gals that showed up than I expected to, that were that were not dragged there by their significant other.
came.
We're going to this brewery.
Yeah.
This is I don't know. You can come with me to this brewery tonight. And they were like, oh, wow, I loved the part. And, it was so cool to have girls talking to us about, being really interacted as well, not just our viewer base that you see in numbers.
For sure.
A lot of the kids were wanting to go see Adam, and I was thinking in my mind, Adam should start a new path in his business and start being rented out to birthday parties, and maybe we could get you in a clown outfit or something.
I'm already
You
a
got
clown.
a real opportunity there. Let me tell you about an opportunity.
Hold on. I have an opportunity for you.
Blue Line birthday parties coming to you soon.
Yeah, if
The
y'all need me to
clown
come to a
service.
birthday party or reach out on Instagram or something, I don't know. No, that was surreal. And especially, I don't know, you talk to any of us, I would think, 5 years ago, even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you tell us oh, there's going to be kids that will come up to you and tell you how much you love a video. I'd be like, no, there's no
Dude,
way.
it was so bizarre. I mean, obviously we put on this event, so I hope people are probably coming because they know they follow our videos or whatever. But it was so bizarre. Everyone you run into, they know who you are.
Hey, Scotty, how's it going?
And
Oh yeah.
it was the craziest thing. I signed my first autograph at this thing. That was so crazy. You really want me to sign your hat? What?
I don't want to ruin your
I
hat,
haven't
dude.
done this since college. Let me see if I still got it.
Can I still
I was like,
sign?
I realized I have to work on my signature
Yeah.
now because at the bank I just scribble scrabble.
Someone came up to me and they were like, "Hey, will you sign my hat?" Or oh no, it was the poster. It was the poster that they printed from Four Noses, and they were getting all four of us to sign this poster, and I was like, "Whose signature is that? Who did that?" They were like, "Oh, that's Steven," and I was like, "Wow, that's bad."
That
And of course,
needs
mine
work.
was no better.
Well, I don't feel as bad now.
Well, the meetup was fun. We're not bragging or anything. We're just a bunch
No.
of
Oh yeah.
normal people on a normal bus, and anyone can do this. And it was a cool time.
Yeah.
It was a good time, and it was just awesome to see the support.
Yes.
I think that was a big, especially coming off of 2 days of fishing. They were a little slow. I mean, we had really fun time with those guys from Golden's and getting to fish. I mean, anytime we're on the river, it's
Oh, yeah.
fun, you know. But I think it was kind of motivating for the trip. It's wow, that was really cool. We got to talk with a bunch of fans. Let's go freaking crush the rest of this trip. And so I think getting that brewery tour the next day, getting to hang out with Dustin and really get to see that. And I think one of the themes overall from this trip was just the people that we got to meet. It wasn't so much we were going way out in the backcountry doing this trip. I think Colorado was a little different because everything is really accessible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there. And so we were able to make a lot of connections and meet a lot of really like-minded people. And I think that was one of the biggest takeaways, I think, from the trip for me, just overall.
Yes.
And it started with that kind of meetup.
I agree.
So then we took off. We were out of Denver. We tapped in
Boom.
really quick, and we tapped out.
Yep. Didn't spend much time around Denver.
Yeah.
Nope.
Just a lot of people.
The short bus in Denver do not get along. There is nowhere to
we
put
broke
a short
few
bus in
necks
Denver.
Yeah.
driving through there.
A lot of rubbernecking going on there.
Yeah. It definitely stands out.
Mhm.
It really does.
Yeah.
Where do we go next? What do we do next?
So then we started heading. We
South.
kind of started heading southwest.
We
I
ran
guess.
through. We went to Golden's.
Right.
We didn't fish that day. We went to Golden's and then we went south.
That was
Yeah.
cool hanging out at the shop with him, though. It was nice, relaxing to be able
Yeah.
to just chill, shoot the shit with the guys, you
Yeah.
know, game plan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
check out the maps, then, you know, just raid their tying section.
Yeah, yeah. We raided the tying section. We raided some flies as well.
I think,
Meat
I think someone made,
section,
someone
steakhouse.
made a big purchase over there.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about that? Or
No, we're not.
We're not.
So we,
Classified.
we did a lot of planning, but then it was time to shift gears, and it was that I believe that everything up until that point was kind of a precursor to the trip,
Yes.
and it was
The
time
trip really started when we left Golden's.
when we
I
left
feel like.
Golden's. Yeah, it started when we left Golden's.
Yeah.
And then it was time to get to work after
Yeah.
that. And
We were able to clean the bus out a little bit too because
That was nice.
we shipped. Golden's was nice enough to ship some stuff for us.
I thought I was going to kill someone at that point.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there
it
was
was
so
bad.
much stuff in the bus.
yeah,
Are we in a hold? Okay.
but yeah,
But-
it was. We headed southwest, and it was time to get to work, and we had our first location in mind.
Yep.
And yeah, we didn't know what the whole trip was going to hold, but we were just going to give Colorado our best. And well, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. But
I think what we didn't realize is even though it was later in the year, it was October, and it would cool down. The water was still pretty low everywhere throughout the state,
Yes.
and so that it wasn't the worst thing in the world. We definitely were able to adapt.
There's definitely
to
one
it.
river that we planned to float that was not
Yeah.
floatable even
No.
when we went. So we ended up waiting.
I would have to say a big shout out to one of the companies that helped us support this trip, which is Trout Routes,
Yes.
which we had never heard of until a couple months ago and started working with and using. And they, coming into Colorado, I think I'd fished Colorado once or twice, but and you had fished Colorado a little bit, but we didn't really, it wasn't like we had spent that much time
No.
getting to figure it out. So we came into this trip pretty, I don't know, we didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
We were coming in pretty blind. And I think, fortunately, for planning this trip and trying to find places and access and camping, we were able to use that Trout Routes app, which kind of had the whole bundle, fortunately, for us
Yeah.
to find public access, find parking, and find a lot of the camping spots that we found. So that was huge, and I think that really helped us the second half of the trip when we kind of had to shift gears a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
So,
I really liked the app. I thought it was super helpful seeing the private accesses. I mean, they had some private access listed, public access listed, good rivers to wade, where there might be like a park or something that you would be able to access. And then on top of that, having, a parking spot or a campsite. I mean, we found quite a few campsites that we stayed at, and we found a bunch of the accesses that we ended up using. And one of the campsite we stayed at for 3 nights off of the app. So I think it's an extremely useful app, and if there's a spot that no matter where you're at, as long as your state is on the app or you're fishing wherever you're wanting to fish is one of the states that's in the app, I 100% think it'd be worth picking up. Even if you've lived there for a long time, and even if you're just looking to find a little bit of new water, even in somewhere that you live, I think it'd be worth it.
yeah, definitely worth checking out. I mean, there's tons of apps out there that'll help you plan a fishing trip, but I think that
Yeah.
kind of has the whole bundle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
and I used it a ton this
Yeah.
trip.
I really didn't think I was going to use it that much.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is
So
super
it's actually
helpful.
like super
Yeah.
super helpful.
So if any of you guys want to check it out, we'll probably leave a link down below. You can check that out. And I
Yeah.
think also going along with that, a lot of the sponsors that we worked with for this trip it wasn't like a forced sponsorship or partnership. They're all
Mhm.
companies that, one, we have a really good relationship with,
Yeah.
and they do really believe and want to support what we're doing and help us grow and help us kind of share the adventures and the spirit that we're sharing. And so that made the trip, I think, in all the partnerships very easy for us to implement.
Okay.
Exactly.
Um, It wasn't ever forced.
I mean, that was definitely the goal when we all started talking about it. I mean, we didn't want to have some partner that we, that we didn't like. They were just like on board for who
Yeah.
knows what reason, just to put their name on the show.
Yeah.
Like we didn't want that, and I
Yeah.
mean, that's not who we wanted to promote. And
It's not what we're about either.
right.
No,
So-
not at all.
I mean, everything that we promoted, we used. I mean, I loved those freaking waders that we had. We loved these rods we were using. We used that app. I mean, it was the Costa sunglasses. I mean, we've all been wearing Costas for years, so it's like nothing was odd about
Yeah,
working
sweet.
with the sponsors this time.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And then we I think that first night that we finally got to our next waiting spot, we decided to whip out a little cooking action.
Oh,
we
that
decided
was
to
the
bring
first.
back
That was the first after
the
hours.
Short Bus
Yeah.
Diaries after hours. B was heading that up.
Yeah, we had a pretty good after hours. We didn't do as many, I don't think, as the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But we had some spicy ones in there.
That's some good
Yeah.
ones.
Spicy ones, like the first one was a very spicy,
Spicy.
one.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that spicy. We had like a little appetizer that Hobo Steve mustered up. He found some hot Cheetos
He did.
and made a little appetizer with it. Little
gotta
street
watch it.
corn.
Yeah, you'll have to
You gotta,
check it
you
out.
gotta spice
Action.
things up, man. You really
yeah,
do.
yeah.
You
I'm
guys-
not gonna lie, it was great.
It was really good.
We've got to.
You guys were doubting me. You guys were doubting me as I was whipping
Well,
this thing
you
up
know
here.
what? We did. I doubted you for sure.
Well,
but
you always doubt me.
I would make that. I would make that again. I'm not gonna lie. It was
Yeah.
great.
Whoever wants to see Hobo Steve's cookbook in the future, please comment below.
Yeah.
He was on it this trip.
Yeah.
He really
was.
was.
How
He
about
was.
Steve cookbook coming in the future, baby? 2022.
We spice things up, baby.
I think the cooking aspect adds such a fun element to it because, like any fishing trip, if it's a little slow or you're fishing somewhere new, it's not gonna be on fire. And especially us having expectations and all that, you get to get back to camp. That's like half of the fun. It's just getting back, and especially it's comfortable in this bus, and you get back and just eat a banger meal,
Yeah.
and you just get to have fun at camp. And I remember us after we were finished eating that night, we looked up at the stars, and it was
Oh, it's amazing.
insane,
Yes.
dude.
Yeah, pretty cool.
There's
Got
no
some
light
photos
pollution.
of the bus.
Yeah,
It's definitely like for me, not that we script this stuff or not that we ever script what we're doing or plan a lot of this out, but our shot lists, you're definitely like always kind of on when we're out filming, we're fishing, hey, give us an update, give us a fishing report, what's happening, and you're kind of always thinking and talking and not just for the fishing aspect but for the filming aspect too. And so being able to get off the water, get back to the bus, it's like pressure release valve. We get to just sit down, the cameras are now off, we're not going to film anymore tonight, and you just get to
take a deep breath.
take a deep breath,
Oh,
all right, now we're actually we're just out here now, and now it's like a normal fishing trip. We're just chilling with our
Yeah.
friends, and
Here's the stars.
yeah.
There's definitely something relaxing after you've been grinding all day, like you're saying, and then you
Yo,
sit
yeah.
down, you have a good meal, and you can just sit around the table and just bulling with the boys and just enjoy yourself for an hour or so.
Yeah.
That-
Get to
that-
turn off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being able to just disconnect for a little bit, not worry about filming or planning or anything like that, it gives us a little reprieve from the trip. And it's
Mhm.
nice. Because this is work for us, but it's also vacation for us too. So it's how do we balance that? And that's how we balance it. It's
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I will say, I think it was really cool when y'all were filming that. I was actually in here dumping cards and getting batteries all plugged in, which has been huge with the new desk and the new charging station and tying station in the back. But I think what has made this successful so far, and what will continue to hopefully make the trips, successful for us to complete and everything, is us all knowing kind of our role in the trip. And I think we kind of executed that pretty well this trip, where I'd be in here dumping stuff and charging, and then you guys are out doing cooking. Steve is organizing. Brian's helping maybe film the after hours. We all were doing something, and we all kind of had an idea of what we needed to do to get the job done, so to say, each night and each day. And so I think that really helps, or helped us out, and helps really on any fishing trip.
I think for sure, being the third one of these that we've done, I feel like we hit a groove.
Yeah.
I feel like getting back, Steve running exactly what you said. Steve running the bus, you doing the cards, me cooking and doing whatever, Bryant helping me with that stuff and filming. I feel like the first two were a little rocky. Okay, what do we need to do? And even then, it was still a little high stress trying to figure stuff out. But once we really honestly, I feel like this trip we like hit our stride.
Yeah.
I'm drawing you guys a goddamn diagram next time.
Nope, I will not read it.
Because you asked me where the same thing was.
Did you
so
not
many
just
times.
hear we all had a role and that was your role, not
Yeah.
my role, not
I
all
wasn't
of our
paying
roles.
attention to where stuff was.
My role is to pack stuff, not to get it for you.
Make
I'm
me-
not your fucking slave.
Make me a diagram.
Yourself.
Make me a diagram, and I will throw it in the garbage.
I'm gonna make a diagram and paste it above your bed there,
It's empty.
so you can look at
Good
it every night and know where your boat bag is. It's in the same spot every time.
I'm not
Yeah.
listening to it. No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hide the beer then.
I can't read.
You're not gonna find beer next time.
Where's the beer?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Look at the
Where,
diagram.
where are the
Could you get me a
waiters?
beer? Actually?
It's
Yeah.
in the cooler.
Could I get a beer? Do you have the melon one?
We actually have to pause if we want to do that because we're out of beer in this cooler.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
My battery's
Should we
in three
take a beer
places.
break and
Yeah,
grab?
I need a beer break.
Okay, we're gonna cut this and we'll be right back.
Okay, yes.
Okay,
Do
perfect.
you want me to cut this?
No, keep that rolling. We'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll sing elevator music.
We'll be right. Yeah, we'll be
Oh my
What was a Jason Aldean song we were singing a while ago?
I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm this guy.
And it takes a tractor another round and pulls a plow across the ground.
All right, we're back from a little snack break / restroom / beer break.
Good
We're
intermission.
refueled. So, I want to hear from everybody at this point at the trip. We've done a little fishing. We had the meetup, and then we were kind of heading southwest to kind of finish out the rest of our trip and spend the next week, I guess, of our trip. But what was kind of everyone's feelers, descriptors of Colorado up to this point?
Fished it. Sucked.
Oh wow!
That was good.
Go ahead and cut that
They're
one.
gonna
That's
love
perfect.
that.
Go ahead and cut that one.
Wow.
Got it.
I can go in.
Yeah, go for it.
Colorado's beautiful.
Those,
Hot Cheeto.
That XX hot.
Yeah,
Got you.
Extra hot flaming hot Cheetos are actually hot.
Colorado's beautiful. It has we passed by so many 14,000, 13,000 foot peaks, snow capped, like yellows, oranges. I mean, it had the whole color spectrum down. Like it really showed out for us. I mean, it might have more people there, but it definitely had the views. Like we took our little bus over some mountain passes that were just incredible and saw some amazing views.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like Montana has more open land, but Colorado, I feel like maybe you just section off Glacier with this, but Colorado definitely has the mountain views.
There's more trees
Yes,
than I'm used to.
more
from,
aspens, I feel like.
Yeah, from fishing, Montana, Idaho, a lot. There's a lot more trees, I felt like.
Yeah, and I think we hit it at perfect time for the fall. I mean,
Yes.
it was peak fall. I mean, the leaves were turning out, and that added a whole another element to it, just being in that surrounding,
Yeah.
for being on the river, and you just every turn of the river is just
Right.
beautiful, and you've got these yellows, these oranges, and I thought that was a
Yes.
huge part of the trip.
It
Yeah.
definitely offers a lot more diversity, I feel like, than a lot of other states do as far as fishing goes. At
Yeah.
least from what I've fished. I know we didn't get to tap into a lot of it just because of the weather there, but I mean, they have meadow streams that you can go wade in. You have mountain streams you can go wade in. They have high alpine lakes all over the place you can hike up to and fish. You even have great floatable rivers, which we love to fish. So you kind of have all that, and easy to drive, easily located near big cities, and that kind of diversity. It's hard to find in a lot of other states, at least that close pack. So that's one of the advantages I see there is whatever you're into, whatever you're trying to fish, there's always something you can fish there.
Yeah.
As a DIY thing, I mean, I don't think you could do better.
Really.
Denver is set up perfectly for people to fly into,
Yep.
and it's usually accessible because the flights aren't that cheap. Or sorry, the flights aren't that expensive to fly to
Right.
Denver, and there's a lot of options you can fish, like you said. I mean, we went through so many different areas that we could have gone to,
Yeah.
and we didn't even scratch the surface. I mean, we could
Oh,
have
yeah.
pike fished, we could have smallie fished, we could have muskie
Yeah.
fished, we could have done more stillwater, but it just comes down to where do we really want to hit. And
Right.
the time we were at, we just had to kind of eliminate some spots,
yeah.
unfortunately.
I mean, if you had a couple of your other buddies and y'all were like, man, we should go do hey, let's get out, let's go do a trip. Colorado would be on the list, I think, because you could rent a boat somewhere, probably float something. You could go wade some really high alpine streams, some still water. I mean, like Steven said, there's everything. So no matter who you are, no matter who your group of friends is, y'all are gonna have water that's gonna kind of jive with what you really like to do. Techie dries. I mean, we got into some dry fly fishing, and we got into some awesome streamer fishing, and we got into some nymphing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's I mean, as far as the accessibility goes, I think it's one of the best.
Yeah.
And as far as the diversity goes, it's one of the best.
Yeah. And there were some places I walked into, like some little aspen groves, where, especially that one day where we didn't catch that many fish. We hit up that one river, and it just looked like something out of like a magazine or like a movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, I've never seen these colors and these trees that are yellows and oranges. And I would walk a couple feet down the stream, and it's like, this is, I can't even like process what's going on. It's just so beautiful.
I mean, I only had like the 24 pack of crayons when I was young. That was easy 64, maybe even like the 82 pack kind of colors that we were seeing.
Dude, and that one day you're talking about, the first day we waited, and we really did, we kind of got skunked because we didn't have that much time, and it was just, we didn't really know what we were doing.
Yeah.
But I remember Bryant started out filming for a little bit, and the elevation hits you so hard.
Yeah, it really
Oh,
did.
yeah, that was rough.
With we all had probably had maybe one beer, and we were like, oh my gosh, what the heck? This is not how one beer should be.
Yeah, we hung out there for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we were up way high.
I mean, was even before we got there, when we were doing that mountain pass, let the bus cool off. We, just going up the steps of the bus, I was getting winded. Like,
Yeah.
11,000.
that elevation hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 11,000 feet, and I like there's 3 steps to get in and out of this bus. And I like walked down them. We were like kind of goofing around with a couple things. I walked back up those steps. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah.
I mean, even for me in Salt Lake, not that Salt Lake's that high, but I mean, I'm used to being here and going up, into the mountains around here quite a bit. But man, I was at 11,000 feet there, and I was like, holy crap! I was gassed.
I think it was cool for us. We got to go on a lot of different elevations in different areas of the state, and even if we didn't fish and we were driving and whatnot, but there was so much variety in terms of the weather, and we got a lot thrown at us.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah, we did.
but it was cool. We'd get up high elevation. We could see some of the ski resorts that hadn't really had snow on them yet, and maybe a little dusting. And then you get down into the valley, and it's desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the weather, that was one of the biggest things I think was so unpredictable. And like in the fall, we got thrown everything
Yeah.
in the strip.
I understand why there's a lot of people in Colorado. Like, I get it.
And you probably don't want us promoting Colorado, but
Well,
sorry.
Well,
there it is.
You have a great state.
like I've said on some podcasts, you've missed the point if you go and do a carbon copy trip of our trip.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado is just, it's something that we wanted to do, and I think all of us can agree, if you just go and try to plan a carbon copy trip, you've missed our whole mission behind this whole bus thing. It doesn't have to be Colorado. It could be like middle of nowhere, Alabama.
Yep.
And you want to go hit up this pond that's way back in the sticks. I think that is definitely taking our mission and going and execute. That's definitely taking something away from this series versus going and say, hey, I want to do a Colorado trip, and we're actually going to go buy a short bus.
Oh, I found that spot that y'all fished in that one video.
We're going to go and paint the short bus the same way, and we're going to go, we're going to go do the trip.
No, that's not the point.
Anyone can do this. We're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah. But I think one of the big goals that we're trying to, I think one of our maybe mission statements or something, mission of the bus is really to celebrate the everyday fisherman. And I think this was another, hopefully attempt at that. And we want, I think, people to not go out and just try to figure out what streams that we're fishing or what other people on Instagram are fishing, but it's really all about kind of making your own adventure. And maybe the fishing isn't the best that it could be, or maybe, but hopefully along the way you make some really good memories. You have fun with a good group of friends, and you hopefully learn something about the area that you go to. And I think this trip kind of represented that,
Oh yeah.
of going to many rivers that we had never fished, any of us, with very little intel. You know, we obviously did our research, we talked to some fly shops, but really going into it and just using our knowledge that we have kind of built up over the years.
It certainly wasn't like we ever talked to some professional. I mean, it was like, oh, dude, you got to go here. Here's the spot. Here's the pin. Like, here's what you got to throw. I mean, we didn't have any of that in the planning. I mean, it was, oh, I don't know. We've heard of these couple rivers. We hopped on that Trout Routes app, found a couple more that were kind of in our driving path, and said, cool, let's try it.
I really was so unfamiliar with Colorado going into it. I mean, I knew I'd fished the Eagle, I'd fished the Blue, and I kind of knew, about some of the famous rivers or whatever. But when you actually get to that spot and you get to see the river and you kind of look on a map and you're looking up close and you're like, oh, this river flows into that river. I had no idea. I've heard about both of those. Or you kind of get an understanding of like where everything is and how they fish and how they're different in terms of elevation and geography. I thought that was really cool. I don't know, to see it. But I guess to move back to the actual trip, to get on track with that, we started to head even more southwest to go to our next spot where we were really excited about, to float, where we were going to spend the rest of the trip, kind of.
It's the only river I wanted to fish in Colorado, and I think everyone else could agree with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely the most excited about this area.
Yep.
So we get in. I remember the first night, it was kind of late when we got in, because we kind of had a couple days where we just were driving. We fished a little bit. We waited that one day, and then we drove a little bit more. And it was just a lot of driving. We were so antsy.
We had road closures.
And that's partially the bus's fault. The bus does not go fast.
Nope.
So you definitely got to add some time, hours possibly, onto your trip. Plus road closures and road work kind of just – we hit a lot of setbacks just on the road. And not to mention, I mean, it's perfectly fine. We're filming this, but, I mean, we would like to film a lot of the transitions and the bus driving, and we got to stop and let Scotty out. He runs ahead, films it passing, If we were in a truck, the driving wouldn't have been very bad at all as far as time goes.
Filming adds a whole another element.
Right.
And so we ended up arriving kind of late. Yeah. And I think we pulled into that first boat ramp, the takeout.
Yeah.
And we were like, this
is not a place to camp.
Where we should
We're not camping
it
here.
was way too busy.
Yeah.
The busiest little highway in
That's
Colorado.
insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So we went up to the next boat ramp where we figured, we'll either put in or take out here the next day or something.
Figure something out.
And again, used the app to find a campsite, which was so clutch. Yeah. I remember driving down that gravel road.
You literally said, "Are you gonna turn there?" Like it said on the GPS, like this is how you get there, and you're like, "Are you gonna turn down that road in this bus?" I was like, "Yep." It's not. I mean, not this is not this crazy, but I was like, "It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
I am dead tired. I don't care what this road is. From looking at it on the map on satellite view, it looks okay. We're going down this road."
Yeah. Shout out to you guys for driving.
Yeah, I didn't drive at all.
I drove a little bit.
Yeah, some of it's tough.
I don't know if you guys can see it back here, but we've got storage, and you'll see it in the video, but a lot of stuff in the back when there's bumpy roads. It's so, Brian and I were sitting back here kind of bracing. What's going to fall? What's going to fall? The rods are bouncing.
You have to anticipate what's going to fall.
Yeah.
And
ready to catch it or something.
Yeah. This plastic shelving wobbled a good bit.
Yeah.
It was scary being back here and seeing that wobble. And
not knowing, I mean, obviously now knowing, we got this dirt road that we're going to drive down. Okay, let's button all this stuff up. Mm-hmm. But, not knowing where we're going, you're just...
Dude, the beds actually served as like a good storage place for like bumpy roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's camera gear ended up going on the beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised my camera never fell off that.
Dude, I know, right?
Look back something. Knock on wood.
No, I mean, but the beds were great for that. It would take a lot of, you'd have to really get sideways to have something fall off that bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that soft cushion with the comforter and everything, they were
Besides
great.
that, though, it held up. The bus held up great. And when we got to camp, I remember that boat ramp that we camped at was so great. And again,
it was just away from,
it was perfect.
We had come from a scene like around Denver with a lot of people.
Right.
And then we turned on this dirt road, and we got out of the bus, and I remember it was just quiet. Everyone was
pitch
tired.
black.
Yep.
There was
Pitch black.
zero light pollution
Zero sound.
anywhere.
Yeah, there was no sound.
Nobody.
Really.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay,
Here we
like
go.
it's time to set up shop and see what we can do with old
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah. I think that's when
That was
we
it.
kind of were pretty excited because I think all the trips that we go on and so much of fly fishing is just getting away from people and
Mm-hmm.
trying to find places that are remote, and this was the perfect zone for that.
Yeah.
And so I think when we finally got there, we saw it and we woke up the next morning, we were like, this is it. Like, let's get to work.
Here we go.
And I remember the radar, we didn't have service, but you had looked at the radar and we had some dicey weather
Yeah.
the next day for our first float on this section.
Yeah, we did.
We actually remember I forgot about this. We showed up to the boat ramp early morning. Our earliest we had gotten up, and it starts dumping. The
Yeah.
wind is blowing
Howling.
Yeah.
freaking so hard upstream, and it is dumping rain.
Adam came back, and he's like, there's sand on the shore that's being blown by the wind. Like,
It was so hard upstream. Like it was kind of a beachy area. And it was like pelting me. It sounded like it wasn't raining yet, but it sounded like it was raining, hitting that rain jacket. Like all that sand was blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 30-something mile-an-hour gusts
Yeah.
straight upriver.
and I know some people would be like, oh, y'all are,
Oh, put up
oh,
those
yeah,
sissies.
sissies. But you try, rowing a raft downriver in 25 mile an hour.
But on top of that,
Not
filming.
happening.
Yeah.
Like
and
we're
filming.
I mean, great, we are here to fish, but
the
again,
audio quality is shot
Yeah.
at that point.
I mean, there's a lot more that we're not here to just fish. Like we're here to do this film and
Yeah.
do it for you guys, like we've already said. Sure, you can get out there and float it, and that's fine. But that's
Yeah.
not the point of the trip. Isn't to go fish as hard as we can 100% of
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So
So we called an audible, and that's where my expertise
Yeah.
came
it
into
did.
play.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
you
Thank
shined.
God for Brian. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh,
He sniffed out that place.
Yeah. So I was assigned a task by the driver, Adam, to find a good breakfast spot that had some hot coffee.
yep. From looking at the radar, we had an hour and a half to 2. It looked
Yeah.
like from the radar.
And so my skill set, I've learned over the years, I can spot a good breakfast. I can snuff them out.
So just for the viewers, can you give us a couple tips of what
Yeah,
to look
what
for?
to look for.
Yeah, so some tips would be when we showed up, you remember I was pointing things out. I said, look at that car right there. What does it say on the back? What did it say?
Semper Fi.
Yeah, and then there was another one that said
Vietnam War vet.
Yeah,
They're Vietnam veteran or
yeah.
something.
So
yeah.
we rolled up to this place,
That's how you know.
and I was like, those were my 2 cues, and I was like, yes, this place is great.
Yep. Get me in here.
I don't even have to eat. I've never been here, but I know it's good.
There are
Yeah.
2 cowboys arguing.
Yeah, we
at the
walked.
front.
Yeah, we
Just-
walked
I mean,
in.
friendly arguing.
Chirping each other.
Chirping
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked in, and we were the youngest people by.
Oh, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Easily.
And seriously, that's how you know, though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, and we saw the guy with the Vietnam vet hat,
There he was.
and something about veterans, they know a good breakfast. I don't
Yes.
know what they were doing over there, but they were fighting for our country. I know, but
Yeah.
they can snuff out a good breakfast,
They
and they go
can.
there every morning.
You just follow those people.
And you know when they're sitting alone and they're eating their breakfast, you're like, this is the zone.
this
Yep.
is where you.
This is where we
this
need
is
to
where
be.
you go.
And man, we were cold, and we got in there and got a warm breakfast.
Oh, it was one of the best breakfasts I've had in a
Yeah.
long time.
We
Yeah.
they
The
are
portions were insane.
the portions were unreal. She said, "Do you want a toast, pancakes, or a cinnamon roll for your side?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go with the cinnamon roll." Steve and I did.
Oh yeah.
They brought out a cinnamon roll, no joke.
It was like a dinner plate.
It was
It's a full
probably
meal.
10 by 10,
Easily.
Yeah.
easily,
Yeah.
and then probably 5 inches tall.
I've
Oh,
had personal
yeah.
pizzas smaller than that thing.
Yes.
That thing lasted me 3 days. I took a to-go box, and I was like,
Finished it.
I am gonna take my time with this.
My side was biscuits and gravy, or biscuits was a choice, and I was like, oh, can I get some gravy on the biscuit? That was a terrible mistake. Instead of like toast, they brought me 2 massive biscuits on a platter.
Your side was on a huge separate
Just
plate.
insane.
We ran out of room on the table,
Yeah, it
to
was,
say the least.
It was the place.
And then we were fueled up, and we had what we needed to once again attempt to get back on the river.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, so we got back, and it had died down a little bit. It actually was sunny when we put on.
Yeah.
We actually
not
met
bad.
a fan at the boat ramp, which was pretty cool. Him and some of his buddies were about to go elk hunting, and they were just fishing that spot. But we hopped in, and we were like, oh, storm's gone, completely gone.
Done.
Sweet. It's gonna be a nice, easy float. No wind, no rain. It's gonna be great.
Jinxed ourselves there.
We did jinx ourselves. And it was
Did
probably,
y'all say that? Did y'all say that?
Yeah, I think Steve
I
might have
think
said that.
You.
I didn't say that, but I think it was said. We'll have to review the footage.
I'll have to review the
Yeah, I want to review.
Bring up the replay on
that
that
you
one, Scotty.
you jinxed us that bad by saying that.
Well, anyways, it was so Steve and I were on the boat, and then you, Adam and B were on the separate boat.
We brought the team back.
You guys were on the Red
We
Rocket.
did. The
Yeah.
team.
Brian and I have a fishing team.
We do.
Every time we're together, we do good.
Yeah.
Y'all did good.
Brian and I do good when we fish together.
But dude, that was a sick first day on that river.
Oh, it was incredible.
That was insane.
It was one of the best streamer fishing days I've ever had.
Yeah. It made the whole trip, like the fishing side. Usually you have some events that happen. They're like, oh, that's cool. It made the trip worth it. But like the fishing side's this other thing that's like kind of a gamble. And that day on that river was just like lights out.
Oh, every run, just multiple fish coming out. Well, we had that one run where I hooked into a fish, fought it into the current,
probably the biggest fish. Of that
lost
river.
it in the current, came unbuttoned, cast back in there, hooked into another one immediately, came unbuttoned immediately, cast back in a third time, and hooked into a nice brownie,
Yeah.
and finally landed that one.
Landed
It was
the
just like,
smallest one?
Yeah,
There
the
was
smallest
two
one.
of them right here.
Yeah, two of them to the board right here. It
Yeah.
was just like, that was a 15-yard stretch. I hooked into three good fish. And it's just like, how do you explain that? That's insane.
Yeah. Me and
Wow.
Adam went down this little side channel. You remember that side channel?
Mm,
And
I can't forget that side.
it was like me and him switched like 4 or 5 times. I felt like maybe 4
Yeah.
times. And it was just like there were fish rising everywhere, and everything was up shallow, and it's like you float a little bit, give the streamer a little tick tick tick, and then
And
you
hail
hooked
it.
up.
we got some good fish, and at this point, if you've been following along here, we did not have a ton of great fishing footage until this, and so we were like kind of not milking it, but like, oh, we got to capitalize. Like, let's actually take the time. We're not doing anything else today. Let's take the time. Let's get some good fish footage for you guys. Let's finish out some of the fishing stuff.
Yeah.
And so Bryant and I were like, all right, great. Here's one. Got a couple pics, release, shot, film, whatever. And then, all right, hey, yeah, let's switch. I get up, and I mean, you don't even have the anchor pulled before we grab another
Yeah.
and
was absurd.
fight it down a little bit, pull the anchor, and like there's a couple spots in that day. If you watch the video, I'm sure you're gonna like. You may not see it in the video, but we are in dang near the exact same place on this one side channel. That if you were to look upriver from the next spot to spot, you would see still where the last piece was filmed.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane.
It was so insane. But we've gotten kind of like spoiled, I think, from Montana.
Yes.
It was hard not to catch like a fish that was 16 inches to 18 inches on this river.
Yes.
And it got so old, I feel like, that we were just kind of like,
Right.
eh.
Oh, it's only a 16. Like, because we were head hunting by because I mean,
yeah.
again, for the video, we like the 16 to 18s are great, but like we really wanted that like 24 to 26, plus inch good brown trout for the video.
Yeah.
And that's at definitely by that time, that's what B and I started targeting. We were like, all right, let's see if we can't catch something good through here.
The thing we noticed too, I think, on that day, and we'd kind of noticed this on the rivers previously with Goldens, but so many of the fish were sitting so shallow,
Yeah.
like really shallow. Steve and I had
Yeah.
a stretch, I remember, that was crazy. I mean, it was probably no more than 6 inches of water.
Oh, easily.
And you would land the fly on the bank almost in like no water, and you would pull it once, one strip, and there would be a fish on it.
That
Oh, yeah.
definitely has to do with the weather patterns while we were there too.
Yeah.
Not saying that they won't do that or whatever, but we hit some pretty dicey weather, honest to God, the majority of our trip. We had some weather blow in on us maybe halfway through the day or something, and
That's usually the tall tale.
yeah.
Is that inclement weather brings out decent
Yeah.
streamer fishing.
They
Yeah.
push up in that shallow
I mean,
water to feed.
they did.
Me and
they
you
did.
sat there anchored up watching a I think it might have been a bow, or maybe it was a brown. I don't know. Tail like a redfish.
Oh yeah, he was
And-
tailing in the
Yeah,
grass.
It was so shallow that his tail was sticking out like a redfish.
Yeah,
And we were like, "Did you just see that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just saw that."
Yeah,
that's crazy.
we saw one really close up on the bank doing
Yep.
the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously they're probably either pre-spawn or getting ready, something like that.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
that was obviously part of
Time
it.
of year plus the weather for
Yeah.
sure for that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was great. I mean, it was perfect for streamers though.
Sorry, my dad just texted me and said, "Mom's at the airport. Where are you?" And I think they got it wrong that I'm supposed to arrive tomorrow.
Oh man.
Oh, no.
Ooh, sorry,
Sorry.
Mama.
Dad.
Sorry, Scotty's mom.
Sorry, Mama Fenninger.
I
Oops.
don't think that's how you say his last
Oops.
name.
Fenanger.
Okay, sorry.
Fenanger.
Finanger. Finanger.
Finager.
It doesn't matter. Whatever.
I just-
whatever you want.
I just have you by Scotty in my phone.
Perfect.
Okay. Can I call you Scotty Wildfly?
Your name in my phone is still Adam Blue Line Co.
Good.
Steven didn't want to know what his name is in my phone.
I swear to God.
Little bit. Short
All
stack.
right, we'll
No, he
rein
knows.
it back in.
Yeah.
Little leg.
Oh no, Stephen Orvis.
Yeah.
Steve.
Oh!
Fighting words right there.
So, anyways, I think it just shows that day though how good the fishing was. I mean, it was probably the best day we had the whole trip.
Yes, for sure.
But I think it shows that if you can get on the water and put yourself, just be fishing in those times when the weather sucks and nobody else wants to be out in the water.
Yep.
But you at least get out there, the fish are going to respond. And one, we didn't see anybody that day. But two,
0.
that I think that switch in the weather kind of triggered something for the fish to turn them on a little bit.
But I think I even said this in an interview with you when you were filming a fish, that if you can learn something from every fish that you catch during the day, I remember like bee casted just super shallow, just trying different things instead of trying the same thing over and over again, maybe not working. Like, all right, well, let's try throwing right on the bank, and you immediately hooked up, and we were like, ding.
That's it.
Don't just, if you catch a fish, don't just walk away and be like, great fish, next, think back, okay, I'm going to try casting really close to the bank this time. Let's see what that does. I'm going to try casting with more of an upstream retriever, a downstream retriever, just different, something different. And I think that day for Bryant and I, the first, and I don't know if it was the weather or what, but the first probably third of that float was trash. I mean, we moved a few fish, but
We caught one, and
we
then it
caught
was on.
one.
And
And then
it was
all
on.
of a sudden we were like, it was like a light switch for us
It was
too.
right when that weather turned on.
And the weather.
The weather, it was so I mean, the rafts, the downside to the rafts are that they do get kind of thrown around like a kite on the river. And I
rough.
remember both of our boats, we were literally rowing backwards because the wind
Yes.
was blowing straight upstream and blowing us into the bank. That it was very hard to
Right.
control
Yeah.
the boat. So I remember we flipped the boat around and I was literally back rowing downstream
Yep.
to balance or with
Yeah,
the
you're like
wind.
holding the oars in the water.
Yeah,
to
just
hope
to
the
hopefully
current
stay
can
in
push
the,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Steve
Yeah.
is now in the back of the boat, so to say,
Yeah.
fishing the hole.
Right.
And that was funny. But it worked.
Craziest day. It's like one of those days you just don't want it to end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the end of the day turned on. I mean,
Yeah,
all the
it
way
did.
up to the boat ramp, we
Pretty
were getting
much,
eats.
yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
remember
we caught one at the boat ramp.
you went down after when Adam was running the
Yeah.
shuttle, and you caught like 3 or 4 fish.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was every hole.
Yep.
They were where they should be, and they were on.
That's a pretty popular river. I mean, it's not some super remote middle of nowhere. I mean, that's a cool spot, you
Yeah.
know. And we didn't see a soul while we were there.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it was great. And I think too, towards the end of the day, just shows as we figured it out and we kind of dialed in the fishing throughout the day, we started to figure out, okay, they're in the shallow water, and so we just targeted that water, the rest of the float, and towards the end, we were just getting more and more bites and more fish.
And the
throughout.
rest of the trip too.
Yeah, the rest of the
Targeting.
trip.
It's shallow water.
It's the same pattern every day. It's
Yeah.
insane.
So we ended up camping there at that boat ramp the next day, which was great. We ended up camping there
Yep,
next
same
couple
spot.
days.
Yep.
But
There's no reason not to.
so the next day, we got up.
Another one?
Brian and I decided to do some wading
Yeah.
while you guys went down into the
Yeah.
same float.
Brian decided definitely.
I was a little cranky
Yeah.
because, well, granted, I did want to see this portion of the river, but like, there's something about being a fisherman and knowing they're biting, and not being able to do anything about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
and like definitely the rafts cover miles, and you get a lot. I feel like a lot more. Someone might say something different, but you get a lot more opportunities because you're covering so many more miles.
Especially
when,
for big fish.
Oh yeah.
you know, when we were waiting, we probably covered like not even a mile
Yeah.
of fishing.
Well, it's to what they always say is you don't leave fish to go find other fish. Like
Right.
when you're on them,
Yeah.
you're on them, and it's very hard for us. You know, we had that very hard conversation about it. It's like we need diversity in the film, and it's just like,
Right.
Yeah.
well, we're on the fish.
I'm sorry,
but we
guys.
also
I
need
got a
other
little
stuff.
cranky there.
Yeah.
But we were like,
just-
well, Steven and I aren't waiting,
Yeah.
so.
But I also wanted to go. There was that upper stretch that looked really cool, and it was kind of into a gorge section. And I don't know. I come from obviously back home. I do a lot of wading. And that's the majority of what I do. And so I think it's fun to target to mix it up. You know, obviously we would have loved to float it that next day because the fishing was so good. But I thought it would be fun to kind of mix it up. Target some of these fish on foot. You can spend a little more time in the actual rivers and like break it down. And we
Well-
actually ended up doing pretty well.
Yeah,
But I mean, not even for that. We even mentioned earlier in this podcast, like the DIY-ness of Colorado. We wanted you guys to see, you know,
you can go on foot. You don't have to
you
have
roll
a
in here
boat.
on foot. You do not have to bring your boat
Yeah.
to Colorado to catch good fish.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we prefer it. I like to fish out of a boat more than waiting, but you don't need it.
Y'all caught some
Yeah.
nice fish waiting up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I saw those pics y'all were posting.
Yeah.
And there's some good ones y'all had up in there.
Man, we started hiking up in there, and it was like right off the bat they were in the same places that
Mhm.
they were on the previous day.
Good.
Scotty caught like 2 or 3,
We got throwing streamers from them.
like right. So Scotty caught one in a nymph. He might have caught one also on a dry fly, and then also caught one in a streamer, just
yeah,
like
I did. Yeah,
right
Walkers.
off the bat.
Right.
And then
Wow.
I grabbed a streamer
I'm pretty good at fly fishing.
and just
Kind
and then just went up river to a little shallow shoal looking area. And there, you remember that one little pocket? There was like 5 fish in there, and like
so shallow.
Yeah.
I mean,
So shallow.
it might have been how many inches is that? Like
3.
I'd
Yeah.
call it 8, but
8 inches or so?
I mean, dude, yeah, you would land the fly in the water and
Were they feeding there? Like, how'd y'all see them in there?
no, we just guessed.
Oh, okay.
Well, I remember when we hiked up, we were hiking on the trail and it's a little elevated from the river. And as we were kind of peeking down into the creek, there was a few spots that we spooked some fish. And they were so close to the bank.
It was
way up to the bank.
nothing water.
Yeah.
And I started casting in this little thing, and I ended up I hooked like 3 fish. I pulled a Steve, like 3 or 4 fish out of this hole, and I didn't catch a single one. And it was just so quick. Maybe I set the hook too early. I don't know. And so I was hiking up further, just a couple steps further, had my rod in my left hand, just kind of inching my way up. And then all of a sudden the rod goes tight, and there's a fish just like right next to me, just in absolute nothing water you wouldn't even think to cast to. And so yeah,
And that's all where we caught the fish.
yeah,
That was wild.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Then I took a nap.
And then I
Yeah,
took a nap.
then I told Brian, hey, I'm going to go try to throw some dries, and he decided to take a little nap.
I
I'd
would
have
take
done,
it.
I'd
Yeah,
have
I
done the
would take
same.
But, dude, okay, I will say, there was a crazy blueing hatch when we were there. I mean, there were fish.
Yeah, right.
We
Yeah, there were
There were
heads.
heads rising
How many did you catch
everywhere.
on BWOs?
We're not going to go there. But the next day, when Brian and I were there, I got 2 or 3
Sure.
on dries.
Right.
Sure, Scotty. Okay.
We'll review the footage on that one.
But it was cool. I mean, I don't know. You guys shit on dries. I love dry fly fishing.
No, I
man.
love dry fly fishing.
I put on a dry fly seminar that last day.
Yeah,
We'll
you're,
get to
you're
that in a
not
bit.
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But that was a fun day to be able to throw on some dries and just act. You know, when you actually get to see them, you see them rising, you see their heads, and then you finally get one to eat. Is so rewarding. So that was fun.
I will
But-
say that was bizarre for me, at least, being from the South, seeing just an absolute ridiculous amount of fish rising in mid-October.
Yeah.
You know, it's like below freezing at night, barely above freezing at the end of the day, and they're
Yeah.
just sipping all over the place.
And we
you're
were
just like,
killing it on streamers.
Yeah.
which,
exactly.
you know, you kind of would think like, oh, not a lot of bug life, whatever, swap to a streamer. They were still eating the streamers for us,
Yeah.
but and you guys were dialing them in on the dries too. It's cool.
Yeah. So how was? I mean, recap us on your day, because we obviously waited and we talked a little bit. But how did the day go for you guys that next day floating when we were waiting?
Basically, how your and I day went the day before that, I'm gonna attribute it mostly because they just got all the fish they were eating. But We probably boated 5 or 6 fish throughout the day, but probably moved 20 to 30.
Yeah, I'd say
And
something still like that.
they were just coming up and bulldogging it. They didn't want to commit to it.
Yeah, yet again, no pressure, but you'd see the fish turn on it out of super shallow water. Just like even we had a couple where the fish would see the streamer coming and try to eat it before it even hit the water. I mean, like eat it like a dry fly coming,
Yep.
like
Oh, yeah.
hatching the sculpin hatch just in 2 inches of water.
Just
It
raining
was
sculpins.
nuts.
Yeah.
But they would hit it or whatever, and I watched so many right next to the boat where they would follow it a long way, and we tried a lot of different flies, a lot of different profile flies. I mean, we threw the kitchen sink that was working, and just couldn't get a lot of commits because you'd watch them come in and they would never open their mouth. They
You're
were
kinda
not spooked by
chasing
the
it.
boat. I mean, the water levels were right, and how shallow they were. The shallower a fish is, the worse it can see up and out of the water its field of view. Versus if it's deep, it can see a long way up. And these fish were so shallow, there's no way they could see us. You'd see them chase your fly almost all the way to the boat and never open their mouth.
Shout out to the freaking Sculperino. They
Oh,
all
yeah.
Sculperino
Dude,
wrecked.
I-
on this
I've never
river.
used the Sculperino.
You didn't even know what the Sculperino
Yeah,
was, I don't
didn't
think,
even know what
before
the
this, because it
Sculperino
wasn't
was.
the one of the 2 blue line flies
Yeah.
that you
Gosh.
use.
There are some flies coming down the pipeline for blue line that I am so fond of.
One of them is Bryant's brainchild.
We're having to order extra just because we know he's gonna
I'm gonna have
finesse a
two
few.
two fly boxes, and one's gonna be filled with one and the other. So,
Different colors? So you're gonna have just some.
yeah, different colors.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Anyways, we've got some flies that are coming. Just that Bryant is the brainchild of one of them. It was the biggest product designer for one of them, and then another one that he just latched onto.
I did.
All I'm saying is the Sculperinos are back
Sculperino-
in stock right now, and if you don't grab one, then you're missing out.
You needed
They slap.
Sculperinos.
it is a
what you
great
needed in your
trout
life.
pattern.
Oh.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed fishing it. The barring on some of them
Yeah.
that I used were very good.
And
That wiggle.
Yeah,
You can't beat that.
I kind of gave
it had like the color and the profile. I think
it
that
walks
was
good.
one
Small
way
enough.
and that back
Yeah.
hook goes the other way. You can't beat that.
You know, yeah. I mean, it is kind of a testament to your streamer. If like it's hovering that far above the water and the fish is already trying to eat it.
Hasn't even touched the water and they're already keying in on it.
Yeah.
So,
Sanity.
Yeah, we essentially caught so many fish on a couple of them that they tore up.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, yeah.
that they're bad quality flies, just they were big browns with a lot of teeth and just messed up some of the
Yeah.
dubbing and stuff on the back hook. And
yeah.
I mean, we were running low on Sculperinos by the end of the trip because that's dang near all 4 of us.
all
threw.
we really threw that trip.
Yeah.
That I mean, we could have thrown a Oliver natural Sculperino the whole time, but it was probably pretty cool for y'all designing that fly way back in the day, and then now just seeing it
Yeah.
work so well on
Yeah.
a trip like this.
It's been Steven's favorite trout pattern. He would have told you this
Oh, easily.
5 years ago.
I've been using the white one for forever.
It's
Yeah.
it's his favorite trout pattern. Period.
Like if they're not hitting the Sculperino, I'm probably just not fishing.
Just pack it up and go home.
yeah.
And just
I think-
pin me an egg above a mott fly and call it a day.
I think Drew uses it a good bit.
Oh, he likes it.
And
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
our
actually on it.
guide buddy I always shout out Drew.
Drew's
so-
the man.
And
Fishy eye.
guide buddy in Nashville, he uses it a lot.
Mhm.
I'm honored.
Yep.
I really am.
So he
That
likes
man
it.
knows how to fish.
Yeah.
If he's using our fly, holy shit, that's awesome.
So when we got off the water, we linked up, and that night you decided to chef us up a little app that night, Steve. Tell us about this app that we had together.
Oh God.
Oh, we had a fusion of worlds coming together on that one there for some late night. We
Yeah.
had a little bit of
backwoods Bama
some
meets,
The
the
Orient.
Far East. Yeah.
oceanside Japan.
We put together some spam sushi for these kids. We actually made it in 2 different styles. We made the standard spam sushi that you guys are actually familiar with at a restaurant, and then we also put together some nigiri style spam sushi.
Oh, that's right.
So, if you watch the main video, you're going to see that nigiri style, but we got some nice appetizers built up with the standard build.
After hours, baby.
After hours.
I want a shirt that says after hours.
Short bus
We need
after
and
that.
it like
hours and
already
neon.
already
Yeah,
has
I
like
want that
hot
neon
Cheeto
glow.
dust on it.
Yeah.
Oh, comes preloaded.
Like a handprint.
I want a handprint over each nipple for that.
That would look like some sort of horror movie or something.
Exactly.
Hot Cheeto
After
death.
hours.
And then after hours, then like a neon glow across
What
it.
the fuck happened in the after hours?
Yeah. What weird ass haunted house have you guys been?
Hot Cheetos.
Not Cheetos.
That's not what you think.
What
We were
about
living
extra,
large
what about
on a short
extra
bus.
hot?
Eh.
Just
So
regular.
It would have been good on that corn.
Hot Cheetos, reach out to us. We're looking for sponsors.
But
We'll put a sticker
Yeah.
on the bus.
Frito-Lay, we could use a sponsorship for Snack King.
I don't know where Steve comes up with these just delicious concoctions of just random foods.
Yep.
But you need to make a cookbook, dude. It's just like you're like, I know that food, in that can over there, and then there's this rice right here, Spam sushi.
It's about being a broke college kid for so long. Thank God I'm not there anymore. But you have to make ends meet back in the day. But you want to eat good at the same time when you're living under a bridge. So you just put stuff together and make it happen.
I
But
appreciate meat in a can. Is all I'm saying. Being from Alabama,
was my first-
canned
yeah.
meat.
That's my first time eating Spam.
Yeah.
I actually
Scotty's
never
mind
eaten
was
Spam.
blown.
I was so impressed. I was like, Brian, are you gonna?
It's a
Adam,
delicacy.
Are you guys
in
gonna eat
some
the
parts.
last two of them? Because I'm definitely.
Oh, he's
gonna
on
eat
it.
them.
Very good. It was very good.
Yeah, it's good.
Applause to our chef.
Yeah. Snaps for you.
Yeah.
Thank
Uncle
you, sir.
Steve's cookbook
Coming
out.
soon.
I don't know if we already. Oh yeah, we did already pull it out. But
No, that was
Uncle
good.
Steve's cookbook.
Another solid meal in the books.
Was.
Man.
And then, I guess what we got up the next day.
Our final day of floating.
Final day of floating. We
Yep.
decided to do a lower float. And that was, the goal of that day was we're like, all right, we've caught some a fair amount of 16, 15 to 18-inch fish that
Yep.
we're super stoked on. But we were trying to find, that one fish, hopefully over 20 or something.
I
that
think
we could.
actually the goal that day was so B wouldn't murder us all, so he could go floating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
The goal of the day became to survive.
yeah.
Dude, it was not 10 minutes after we put in. It was great weather, and then
Yeah.
we got down after the first bend and
Yeah,
just
you
got
could still
whooped.
almost see the boat ramp.
Yeah.
And it just
Dumped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, what about what happened before that?
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. Not only did we have a great dinner, but we woke up and Brian had to show off his breakfast skills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only can I find the breakfast, I can cook a little bit too.
That slaps.
Hey, just if y'all need a man that
have you
can
ever been
cook.
to Vietnam?
But he's
You
learned.
But
learned,
he's-
you learned it from people that have
Yeah.
been.
He's learned the ways.
He's learned a thing or two.
Hey, I like to cook. I can clean and cook. So
After those eggs in a basket that you made, I'm gonna start recruiting you more for the cooking stuff. This is bullshit. That you're standing around. Oh yeah, Adam, go ahead. Yeah, cook me dinner.
Classic Scotty. I have a camera. I can't help.
Yeah, I
you
can't
guys.
help you cook dinner. Yeah, go ahead and cook that for me.
but after that, we got just
Murdered.
destroyed by some rain, snow, sleet mixture.
All of it.
Everything with wind.
Started with rain, turned to sleet, turned to snow.
We thought this this is gonna be what the float's gonna be like today. This is gonna
Yeah.
be great.
Shout
We
out
were
to
already-
B though, like getting the eye for it and pulling out his camera in the middle of all of that, risking it for the biscuit for some sick photos.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope they're. I hadn't seen them yet.
They're
I-
good. I looked at
I saw the previews.
Oh, nice.
My beard was looking sick in that. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
all that matters.
But it ended up becoming
you can sit on their side if you want.
Wish I could.
it turned into a pretty nice day though after that.
Which sucked because I wanted to overcast so I could do that mouse pattern.
Yeah, and then it got
Yeah.
nice, and then it got crappy again.
Yeah, then it got crappy again. I mean, it was
wild.
we caught some fish, but that
Yeah.
that day was definitely a little underwhelming overall.
I'm definitely curious if there wasn't something going on with spawn or something in that lower stretch, and we definitely couldn't get. I mean, obviously not going to go out target reds and spawning fish or whatever, but I mean, there were a lot smaller fish down through there.
Yeah.
We had a lot more like 8 to 12-inch fish than we did. The upper stretch had more 16s and 18s. So I don't know if it's just those fish had pushed up toward spawn and were pre-spawn. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we hit like a certain stretch there and it just shut down.
Yeah.
That last little bit, and it was just like, okay, well, there's something going on here.
I don't think we caught a fish. I don't think we caught a fish in the last mile, probably.
No, I think
I don't
we
think we
Steve
moved
and
it.
I did pretty
yeah,
good.
we
though.
pulled a couple, but like nothing of significance. But
Yeah.
We did good that
We,
day.
we
yeah.
threw on the Cooter Brown. Yeah, y'all killed it. We threw on that Cooter Brown for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was, it doesn't really have much weight. And so I remember there was one fish that ate it that literally sharked it like a dry fly.
Yeah. Saw
was
it land
full
and just
out of the water the second the fly landed.
yeah.
And we were like, dude, let's throw a mouse on. But it was, we finally caught some fish.
Yeah, that river lit up for B&I for a while there.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
I definitely liked that lower stretch, but
And
Yeah.
it is so. We wanted to get to some other rivers, but it is so hard to get away from a river when it's fishing that.
Yeah,
good.
when
Yeah.
it fishes like that, it's like why like
Why?
it's like okay, we'd
Yeah.
scouted out some other stuff that we could go do, but why?
yeah,
mm-hmm.
it's just going back to like when they're biting.
Yeah, you don't
Like,
leave fish to find
yeah,
fish.
it's
Yep.
just-
You just don't.
And it's tough too. I mean, we planned this to have, around 2 weeks to do this trip. But even then, you get out there and we probably had maybe 10 days of fishing, but that goes by so fast.
Yeah.
And there's all these other spots we wanted to hit, but then you just run out of time. And
Especially
I don't
driving past them and you see them, they got
Yeah.
like a cool
Yeah.
metal stream, or like, oh man, look at those aspens around that one. You're
Yeah.
like, man,
That's
we
so
need to
cool.
wade that.
People are gonna
hard.
hate like y'all barely saw Colorado, but like, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
Holy
Would
cow!
you not sit
What-
there the entire time?
And on the flip side too, a lot of the high elevation stuff that we had kind of planned to do was snow.
well, yeah, it
Oh, yeah.
snowed, and then we couldn't
And
go
I
up
was
there.
not going to drive that bus up in the snow. I know you were like, "Hey, we could go scout this out." I was like, "Cool. Look at that line of snow right there."
Yeah.
And it is over that pass.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not driving that in the bus.
And it was, a high of 30 degrees up in some of those zones. So
Nope.
we decided to, we opted out of that. So hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully we can go back in the future and maybe go to some of the lakes and higher elevation stuff when it's a little warmer. But that was not the time to do it.
It's fun. B and I did that back in the day when we were
Oh, yeah.
road tripping back and we went to one of those high alpine lakes. And I mean, it was a hike to get up there, but man, that fishing was fun. Those big cuddies up there.
Really cool.
So definitely something that I want to pencil in for us to get back up there and do because it's a blast.
Yeah.
I'd love to, and I know the weather was just so weird this year because it was awful,
Yep.
hot. I mean, terrible fishing conditions. Not only just like the state came out and said you guys don't fish, but even more on top of that, like ethically, we might not should be fishing. If it's that hot and low.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
And then all of a sudden, it was winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was winter on us when we were there, so there was not a good time for us to have gone. So I know we're talking about people watching who are from Colorado. Oh, you didn't even go to any other cool other shit, and I wish we could have, but
Yeah.
it went literally from terrible conditions in one extreme to terrible in the other extreme, to where there was snow, it was ice, like some of the roads were closing when we were there, the mountain passes were closing down because of snow, and it's like, well, sorry. I mean, it'd
You
be cool to go do it all, but I mean, you just
Yeah.
can't.
You also can't make the perfect trip. I think
Right.
that's
No.
we go in with such high expectations on trips like this, but you got to just understand that you're going to fish a few places that are cool. You're going to have some days that suck, some slower days, and you're going to have a couple good days. But then at the end of the day, we've got the bus, we've got the cooking, we've got so much more just, I think, a part of the trip that makes it fun and worthwhile.
Mhm.
And so I think,
Go.
yes, we got to fish Colorado. We got to fish a lot of cool zones. But besides that, it was just nice for all of us. I know we've all
Yeah.
been really, really busy the last couple months
Oh,
doing
yeah.
our separate things and working on projects. And so it was nice that we all got to get together,
Yeah.
spend some time together, and
We hope
not kill each
we
other.
hope one day like we can all like this is the only thing we got going. We can plan more of these.
Mhm.
Would love to come back to Colorado again.
Yep.
And like see all you guys do another meetup here, do another trip here.
Yeah.
There's just we scratched the we've scratched the surface in every location we've been.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Barely. Yeah.
It'd be great to do a deep dive later. It'd be great to keep doing it.
yeah.
Mhm.
You guys want to see more Colorado, but keep supporting us and keep helping us grow, and
Yeah.
you will.
We came away. I don't think I didn't have like. What did y'all kind of want to wrap up? There wasn't as much past what we.
Yeah. We can go into.
You
some-
had a bunch of other stuff on there. Do you want to finish out with the end of our trip, and then we could even start another episode, or at the end of this, do you want to go through more of the stuff on your?
Oh, I was just gonna say.
list.
I think one of the things is like we all come from. We've talked about this, but we all come from places where we really have to work, to find good fishing and to get away from people are, you guys in Alabama. It's not a huge fly fishing scene, so you've worked.
It is.
Huge.
in
Yeah,
Alabama.
Massive.
huge,
Yeah,
massive.
everybody knows it. It's insane.
Sipsy.
Yeah, if you've ever been to the Sipsy Fork, you got to go. I'll spot burn it
Yeah,
for you.
Sipsy
Yeah,
Fork,
if you're,
Red
if
Zebra
you
Midge,
live in,
all day.
That's all
yeah,
you
if
need.
you
Yeah.
live in like
Someone
Bozeman,
just stood up and their computers
Yeah.
going, what the fuck? Just-
if you live in Bozeman, you need to get on a plane, fly to Birmingham, drive to the Sipsy, and go catch
Yep.
some fish.
Jasper County.
Yeah.
It's dry, so just be
Oh,
careful.
it's a
of
dry
that.
county.
Yeah.
They'll get
Yeah.
you in trouble.
yeah,
for that.
y'all don't know what you're missing.
Oh, you're missing out on insane stalker fishing.
Well, like
100+ fish days, no
Oh,
joke.
easily.
Scotty going with, I
right,
think
sorry.
I know what route you're going here.
Yeah, but I mean, I think all of us come from a place where it's there's really good fishing where we are, but it's not glamorized like it is out west, and so I
Yes.
think we all have to work really hard for the fishing that we've done. And so even when we get to come out here, and even if it's not the most banger trip that we could have, we always are appreciating, I think, the time just to get away and kind of reset in a way. And I don't know, I think Colorado was a good place for that. And
I think it fit the short bus diaries really well.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, for
accessible. It's easy to get to.
Yeah.
It's, pretty cheap to fly into from anywhere. Denver's a massive airport. If you need a rental car, it's a huge airport, so rental cars are easy to grab. Something like an SUV that you could drive anywhere in the state. We didn't go anywhere that a standard SUV couldn't go.
Yeah.
It was
And hopefully
so
with
accessible.
yeah, no, it definitely is. And like I said a while ago, don't carbon copy us. But like what I would like to see in the future, maybe if we keep doing some more of these, is like when you guys plan your own expedition, when you guys go out with your buddy, with your best fishing buddies, tag us in there, saying like, we did this. I
I'd
think
love
that
to
would be
see that.
so
Yeah,
cool to see,
definitely.
because that's like what each and every one of us are like so, like I guess passionate about.
Yeah.
Is going to these places, and we have tons of places in our minds, on notepads and stuff that
Yeah.
we've done research for, tons of trips that we want to do.
I know we talked about, to your point, we talked about it a little bit in our bull trout video, but, people are like, oh, you catch so many more bull trout if you did this. Okay, but that was so cool because we planned it. We planned it all the way out ourselves. I didn't call people and say, hey, where's the bull trout at? It's not like I called people and said, hey, where are the big browns in Colorado? Like, we planned
Yeah.
the trip ourselves. We didn't get that insider intel that Golden's helped us out quite a bit with the, what can you float and water flows and, that kind of stuff. But, it means so much more to me when you put a trip together yourself and you find fish yourself. That fish is so much more valuable than me sending you a pin to tell you what to go, what hole should you throw that Sculperino in. That's cool and great, and but it doesn't mean as anywhere near as much as finding even one cool fish somewhere yourself that you scouted, scoped, found out, got into, and it means a lot more.
Yeah. So tag us in your trip and just be like, look what we're doing.
Yeah,
I think
I'd
that'd
love
be
to see it.
so cool.
I'd love to see it.
Because this very easily, we talked about this recently, this very easily could have been just something that we sent in our group message that could have just kind of flown over our heads and been like, oh, it's a funny idea.
Oh,
Whatever.
you're talking
Yeah.
about short bus.
Yeah, short bus
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah, it's just a fleeting text message that I sent
Yep.
to the group, and it could have just gone away, and no one could have acted on it.
No, I couldn't have not.
And then we all had like a second guess, and it was just like, well, let's do that.
Hold up.
That's
Hold
kind
up.
of
That's
like
it.
encapsulates everything that we want to do, and that we want to preach to everyone.
Yeah, and to your point on the bull trout, it's like our bull trout trip wasn't perfect, right?
No.
And this short bus isn't perfect. We got it. We just took the first step. Okay,
Yeah.
let's buy this thing. We got this idea. Let's execute on it. And then the next trip was a little bit better, and then this trip was even more better, or
Right.
even better than the last one.
Yeah.
So I think it's
And
the same
so-
thing with your fishing. It's
Right.
like it's okay if you didn't go out and slay it, and someone's judging you on the internet
and
about
some dude that
that.
grew up in Colorado can say, "Oh, you didn't fish the best spot."
right.
Okay, great.
At
well,
least you're
I'm
out
from,
there.
I'm from Alabama. I
Yeah.
don't know the best
I don't
spot
know.
like you do. Well, you should have called me and told me where your spot was if you wanted me to fish the best spot.
You gotta love
You-
it. You gotta love the
Yeah,
keyboard warriors.
Yeah, like what the heck?
Keyboard warriors, love
I mean,
'em.
yeah, it's we're not gonna go do the best float on the planet or the best area because I didn't grow up in Colorado and I don't know those spots. I mean, we fish some amazing spots in Tennessee and Alabama where we grew up, but yeah, we're not gonna go to the. I'm probably not gonna be the best bull trout fisherman on the planet because I live in Salt Lake, hours from bull trout, and I grew up in Alabama. Days from bull trout.
We've only fished
Like
with bull
what in
trout
the heck?
twice before.
Yeah, why would you throw shade?
There was some dude that's like, seems like y'all are just a little inexperienced. It's just like,
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
yes,
Well, yeah.
okay, yeah.
That is
Yes.
true.
And thank you for
Well,
commenting.
I
on
wish
that.
that
statement.
I wish that you had taken. If you're going to spend the time to send me that, I wish you would have shown up. You should have guided us to the best bull trout hole on the planet. You should have taken me there and held my hand and helped me walk across the river, and helped me cast my fly to the best bull trout on the planet. If you know all that and you want to comment that, then you should have stepped up and done
But
it.
yeah, I think those people also miss the point. Like that.
That's not the point of
there's no. We don't give a shit about what these people say on the internet. Whatever you're doing, don't just. It should be fun, and you should be doing. You're going out fishing with your friends because you want to get away. You want to have a good trip. You want to experience something new, and I think if people are trying to tell you how to fish or how to enjoy your experience or how to do it right, don't listen to them.
Yeah,
Just go have fun.
not hating, not to get tied up in the people that are hating on us, but I don't want people who are new to the sport to get jammed up on that, on those haters, because I don't care.
No.
If you're being like that, whatever. But I don't want people getting jammed up on that are new to it. Like, oh man, like I watched a video and that dude caught a bunch of bull trout, and I don't. Oh, well, I can't go do that.
Yeah.
But
I
I mean,
think
that's not what I want.
I think for overall for the Short Bus Diaries, I think one of our goals is to be the goal of putting the bus together and building this thing out is so we can all get together and explore and experience more of the country and more of the world through fly fishing. And this is our vehicle, our avenue to do that. And it doesn't matter if we go and we slay or if we get skunked or if we do whatever. It's like we're going there, we're experiencing, we're seeing a new place, we're hopefully learning a new technique or we're learning something about that area.
Yep.
And hopefully, through that we can kind of share that with other people and kind of inspire that spark or that spirit in others.
Yeah.
So
You touched on a good point there, and I think a lot of people need to realize that is that, you're never going to be the best when you first start out here. Priority is to have fun when you're out here on the water, but each time you go on the water, it's a brand new experience for you. And if you can take away one lesson from each one of those things and apply it to the next time you're out there fishing, that's the most important thing when you're out here. And slowly but surely you'll get better. Don't get out here and expect to do the best every single time. It's a learning curve, and you have to get there. But at the end of the day, just make sure you're having fun and make sure you're learning something every time you're out there. And that's kind of what I want to relate to people as we're out here, doing this. Like, hey, we're using prior experiences. We're like, okay, I've caught fish in this kind of environment before. They're in this kind of staging situation before. Okay, well, let's apply that to this and see how we can do.
Yep.
Well, it didn't work. Okay, well, let's reevaluate that. And, you see it time and time again. We don't have the best days out here, but we try to take away something from that and figure out where the fish are sitting.
Yep. You talk about it a ton. It's time on the water.
Exactly.
And it's not. I mean, it's incredible. We've talked about it a ton that smallmouth fishing and brown trout fishing is the same. Thing. I mean, I was on the boat with all of you guys floating last trip, and it was like, oh dang, this looks just like X River from Middle Tennessee or what, and you're like, the predatory fish live in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Bait fish that are wounded swim the same way everywhere on this planet. Like it's just a fact. So you could fish in Missouri or wherever you are listening to this podcast, Idaho or Ohio, and travel to the other side of the country. And if you can fish and apply these things that you learn, you're going to be more successful anyways than if you just don't pay attention to any of it, don't try, and it's going to be what you make it. If you put the time in, it'll reward you.
Just go out and do your own stuff. Like, go out and make a plan, execute it. And that's all we're asking.
If it doesn't work, no one's going to laugh at you. No one's going to be like, oh, well, that was stupid. Like
You went fishing.
You went fishing.
Yep.
You was better than going to work and sitting at your office, Steven.
Yeah.
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 I say that so many times we're out here. Bad day fishing is better than a good
I
day
mean,
working.
Hey,
Yeah.
free Steve. We
Yeah.
gotta have
Free
Free
Steve, dude. We're
Yeah.
getting
Hashtag
there.
free Steve. Let's do it.
Steve's gonna be free here soon, away from his job. But I think fly fishing is such an activity that is so contradictory to modern day with the whole instant gratification of everything. You know, I mean, you can get on. I think that's just so drilled in our culture right now, and especially young people. Like, you can figure something out really, really fast, and then you get that instant gratification. You're good at it, or you succeed, or whatever. And fly fishing is something that we've all learned over the years. It takes years and years of practice and years of doing it and learning to really kind of fine tune your craft. And same with videography and
Yeah.
anything like that. But
I would add in too, even to that, if you guys are watching this and you're a little perturbed by the, man, I don't catch a ton of fish. Look at those guys, whatever. We've been fishing. I mean, I've been fly fishing nearly exclusively since I was like 8 years old. So it's not like, even though I'm young, like I've been doing it a long time. I know all of us are in a similar boat. I know you're right there with me.
Yep.
I know you're close. I mean, you're probably right there, shortly right there behind that. But I mean, we've been doing it a long time. Even though we're young, you see a lot of these guys that are 80 years old and they're slaying. You might not feel super. I don't know. Not that you would feel jealous about what we're doing, but I mean, I just don't want people to be perturbed even by that. Like, we've spent so much time on the water that we're starting to dial those things in. And that's simply, if you want to be if you want to start being good, you want to elevate your fly fishing to the next level, that's what you're going to have to do.
we've also fished with people, especially on this trip, some of the guys from Golden or whatever, any other people we fish with that are way better than us.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And so it's something that you can't compare yourself to those.
There's
those
no
others.
Don't compare yourself to other anglers.
Yeah.
I mean, and the biggest thing for me is take something away. If you learn something every time you go fish and you can apply it the next time you go fish, you're going to start building on those foundations, and you're going to start getting better and better and better. You're going to start seeing those results that you're wanting. But it's like what you said, there's no instant gratification in fly fishing.
And
It
ask
doesn't
questions.
exist.
Always be open to criticism. Always be open to learning new things from people, and never, I don't think, get comfortable with like, I have it figured out. I don't need to listen to anybody.
Dude. So I'll go into the story about. I mean, this doesn't really hit on your point because it's conventional fishing, but I mean, just fishing in general.
Yeah.
We can apply this to
For
that.
sure.
I film a lot of pro fishermen, I have in the past, and so the amount of detail that they go into when they come off the water, like every time they come off the water and they have like a good day, or like something interesting happen. Like I've sat down with several pro conventional bass fishermen in those pro circuits that have notes after pages of notes of just temperature, weather pattern, details, and they've been keeping that since they were like 10 years old. Like just pages of notes, notebooks full of just conditions and what they were using, what they were catching them on.
In the first year of that is garbage. Is absolutely useless for the first year, maybe even 2 years of you recording that.
Oh, yeah.
But after 3 to 4 years, you're going to start finding patterns that really start recurring.
I mean, you can even in the first couple years, but it's just you might be so new to it that you don't really pick up on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the coolest thing, I was with these anglers a couple weeks ago, and we had a college tournament that one of the anglers hosted. And so a bunch of college anglers came out, and basically the pro anglers got to be the boat official in this bass tournament. And each and every pro angler that came off the boat that day, after a full day on the water with those college anglers, said that they learned something from people that were, let's just go ahead and say it, way more novice than they were. And so I guess that ties into your point. Just always come off the river learning something. Even those pros, some of the best fishermen I know, those guys were like, wow, those college anglers really approached that situation in a way different way than I would have.
Right.
So.
And not that that's negative. I mean, don't take that as bad advice or experience or anything. It's different.
Being open-minded out there.
Yeah.
Understanding that people always have different perspectives on these things, and understanding that, okay, if they approach it from a different way, maybe I can learn something from that. I've always approached it this way. They approach it
Yeah,
that way.
it's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fishing. It's nothing you do is wrong. I mean, it's
There's definitely wrong
Oh,
ways to do it. But
okay.
there's probably,
Okay.
Yeah,
But,
there's,
like, I
there's
mean-
not a right way to
Yeah,
do it.
those
there's
guys
always
that-
not a right
not
way.
a right
Those
way.
guys that fish without reels,
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
wrong.
yeah, that's
You
wrong.
can't- no,
That's
don't
That's
do
not
that.
fishing.
Don't do
Wait,
that.
no,
That's not fly fishing.
Don't talk to me about that.
okay, no.
Okay, they're wrong.
Cane pole?
I'm
Cane pole
I'm
Tony?
wrong.
Game Pole 10?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's no real wrong way to do it. If you are outside, you're spending some time away from your phone, away from emails and Instagram, or whatever. You're spending some time doing something outdoors. I mean, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
You're already winning by going fishing.
Yeah.
And if you want to get better, try to implement some of the stuff we said. If you don't want to try to get better, then that's also fine. I mean,
if
you
can
can
go out
still
a couple times a year. And
yeah, you can still go have fun. It's a great way to blow off some steam. You get away from things. Lets you reflect. I know we all talk about like hitting the reset button for us. Even if it's just a reset button that you can hit. But if you want to, try to dial it in, try to get better, then, try it. But even if you don't, I mean, just go fishing and have fun. And, I mean, don't listen to the people on the internet. Don't compare yourself to other anglers. If you're not putting the time in, then don't expect the results. But I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's not like, oh, you're stupid because you're not doing it.
Mhm.
Just don't expect to go catch a ton of fish on a fly rod if you're not putting the time and effort in.
But to start kind of wrapping this up, we've come back here from we've finished filming Short Bus Diaries Volume 3, right? We spent our time in Colorado, 2 weeks or so. I think it would be great to go around and let's just hear everyone's kind of takeaways from this trip, from the experience of being in the bus, this first solo trip in the bus, being back on the road, kind of what is everyone feeling? What are you thinking coming off of this trip? And just maybe what do you want, the audience to kind of get from this?
Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Good.
You said things.
Good.
That's great.
Good clean Levin.
Ask that again.
Run that by me one more time.
I'll go first.
Thank you. Give me some time to bounce.
My biggest thing is huge shout out to this bus.
Yeah.
We did some stuff in this bus that the old bus would not have done. You guys met us at the brewery, said like, "Oh, the old bus look like it really didn't look that bad." It was. It was
Awful.
that
Terrible.
bad.
I've been telling her, it's a shock to everyone that I talked to at the brewery. I was like, there was some weird stuff
Oh yeah,
About
there was some
that
weird
bus.
stuff in the
God,
bus.
that happened in that bus.
Some bad
I don't
juju.
know. There was some bad
There was
juju.
some bad juju. Some juju magumbo was
If
in that
you
bus.
believe in crystals and spirits,
Ghouls.
Stay away from that bus.
it was definitely something going on in that bus.
Yes, but huge shout out to this bus.
Yeah, this bus is so much
This is
better.
what we had to have. I mean, like I just said earlier, like I'm good to hop in this bus and drive this thing to Alabama tomorrow. Like we could take this bus wherever we wanted to that a bus would go. So
Yeah.
huge plans, and I'm extremely thrilled. Like how the bus performed. We've got some tweaks. We learned some stuff. As far as some of the upgrades, we need to change a few things. We obviously have a huge upgrade list that we're going to keep working on and rolling on. But for me, that was the number one thing, obviously from my shoulders, that I was worried about was the bus. And it was like, thank God this bus was.
This
I mean, it
thing's
did
solid.
everything that we asked it to do. So it was great.
130,000 something miles, still clicking.
That's not even anything.
13
for
miles
for
a
a
gallon
bus.
Yeah.
with
Less
the
than my
trailer.
car.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on,
No.
bus.
Steve, what you got?
Thomas knows how to make a bus.
Man, I love this bus here. It checks off all those little marks that I'm looking for in a good adventure. I want some good exploration, some good adventure, some good camaraderie, some good beer, and just generally having fun. And, being able to have all of us in this bus at one time, being able to experience that together, being able to see those sights together, and be able to have fun together, and be able to have those conversations together, and not have to.
I didn't have fun with you.
I had fun with you, buddy. I had fun with you. But being able to actually do that, not have to split up in the runner truck, and being split up like that, you being able to actually have everything contained in this, and having the adventure together, that was something special. And we've been talking about that for over a year now, trying to actually get that done. But being able to do that, realize that dream, that's just, it opens up so many possibilities. There's so much more room for us to improve on this. But at the same time, it was almost perfect in my mind. And I had a blast. I enjoyed it. And, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. I'm going to tell my kids about it. I'll tell my grandkids about it. And God willing, I'll tell his grandkids about that. But I loved it, man. And, I hope everybody enjoys the film that we put out for this, because I had a blast, and I hope that reflects it in it, because this was awesome.
Sorry about the dog.
And Winston's just going ape shit.
Yeah, he sure is. Well, I kind of wish I would have said something nicer like what Steve said, but
well, you went first.
I'm just trying to bring a tear to people's eyes.
That was good. That was good. No, I mean we
Well
spent a lot of time and effort filming it. I really hope people like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's my turn.
Your turn.
Be our Pat.
Big PB Pat.
My biggest, yeah.
You can't do that.
Fucking
Just bowling in the back.
Right.
Don't worry about that. Cut that,
It was a
Scotty.
weird picture.
Yeah, cut that one.
I need
Bad
that
angles.
picture.
Bad angles.
No, it wasn't.
Good angles.
The
That's-
right. It
I
was
say
all
that
right.
picture.
My biggest takeaway was definitely the meetup, where people really took hold to what we're trying to talk about out there, and just hearing stories from people that were like, man, this series in a roundabout way kind of changed the direction of my life, or like got me into fly fishing. Just hearing how much it meant to some people, and we're just goofing off on the river, but I took a lot from that, because I was like, dang, like I don't know what we're doing here, but like I like that it is inspiring people to get out. I think that's
There's
the
some
most
deep
important
stuff that folks talk to me about at the brewery.
Hit
that-
my
that
feelings.
Hit hard.
Our friend Alan, who showed up, he
God
said
dang.
he had heart surgery, and he, watching the
Fuck,
videos
man.
and everything kind of helped him get through that. So big shout out to
Yeah,
him.
shout out to
Yeah.
Alan, man.
Really,
Hit me
he
in a
came
deep
by
God
himself,
bless you,
and
dude.
that was so cool to get to talk to him. And
Yeah, dang. When he said that, I was like, oh crap,
yeah,
dude.
I think
Yeah,
off of that, it really, I don't know, it struck a chord in all of us. Just to, obviously you don't want to get too caught up in it, but the fact that what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish actually means something to somebody and can actually, the goal of us, I think the goal of a lot of this is trying to get people outside and get people into fishing, like we preach, but to actually see it in real life was really meaningful.
yes.
And I think too, for me, a big takeaway was just, it's very easy to, like, especially when you're working on an edit, and I'm someone who's a perfectionist, and like it's easy to take yourself too seriously. And coming on this trip and being around you guys and getting to hang out, we all kind of keep each other honest, and we chirp at each other in a fun way. No one takes it personally. It's all fun, and it's just a way to kind of remind yourself not to take things like too seriously, and just
Yeah, that wasn't personal, Adam.
maybe there were some things personal.
Never mind if it's a personal thing.
But you know what I mean. Just it's a good even if it doesn't. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it was good to be around everyone and be in the bus together at the same time and not have a follow car and be able to hang out, chirp, have fun, fish, trying to figure stuff out together. It's all the emotions I think on this trip. And but at the end of the day, we're here, we're homies, we're getting stoked to plan the next trip, and I think that's all that matters. Is
There might be a trip where we don't catch a single thing. I'm gonna knock on wood right now, but I still think we would have
We still have
somewhat
fun.
of a good time.
I still think we could put a pretty decent video together. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people said like it's not just the fishing that makes our videos. I mean, anyone can go catch fish and put some videos together. But anyways, well, one question I have: favorite part of the new bus?
Ooh, good one.
What's your favorite thing or favorite?
The lockers up under
Storage.
the bus, yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
It beats having wet waiters sitting in the bus.
Yes, that's very true.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's an Easter egg hidden in this bus.
Okay, no,
it's a
Yeah.
thick. It's a
that's your
thick
favorite
one.
part. I get
It's
it.
a thick Easter egg.
It's a thick one.
It's a thick one. Thick with 3 C's.
Big
Uh,
Easter egg.
Probably
Long.
my favorite part favorite
not that.
upgrade that we have is, being isolated to the bottom bunk with no room to move. The nice thing is that I can put up an extra pillow, jam it up in there,
Yeah.
blocks out all the light in the
Blackout.
morning.
That
Yep,
is
pretty
lucky.
much might as well have blackout curtains, and I can just sleep through the morning.
Dude, yeah, you got no light pollution down
That's
there.
beautiful.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
What about you?
Dude, honestly, this table is
table?
probably my favorite. I love my bed, but I had the top bunk in the last bed too, or the last bus. But this table has been huge for Brian and I got to hang out, have some good talks.
Yeah.
Steve and I had some good talks, but we all got
I
to
didn't
hang
enjoy
out.
it.
There were good talks, Steven. The talks were good.
Talks were great.
Fine.
Come on.
Fine.
but being able to work back here when
Yeah.
we got to camp and I could be in here, dump cards. It was very organized, somewhat organized.
Yeah.
And then we had the charging station back here I could plug in. That whole back area I think was huge for this trip. So
Yep.
it's probably my favorite
Yep.
part.
You're welcome for the organization.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
y'all-
I am not the most organized human in the world, so
Huh?
I appreciate y'all.
Really? Really?
I appreciate y'all keeping me
Sheesh.
hanging.
Shit, I never would have guessed.
Yeah. keep it putting
Well,
up.
yeah. Well, y'all know me. My favorite was the fly tying table.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
sick.
It's pretty neat.
Shout out Loon for hooking us up with a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff.
All right.
Shout out to them for that.
I feel like me and
Yeah.
Steve should end this by doing our scratch offs real quick, and then
Ooh, yeah.
Bryant won a scratch off. If you didn't watch, you need to go back and watch the video. We did a who. We all guessed who would guess the closest to the miles per gallon that the new bus was actually getting. So we did the math. We figured it out. Bryant won.
Steven wasn't even close.
Steven guessed.
330. Yeah.
Three-
I threw
the-
some stuff out there.
Yeah, when Elon Musk bus comes out, the Tesla
I'm
bus.
just saying. Put a
Might
diesel
be getting
generator in here with electric motor.
330 or whatever, but
all right.
anyways.
How do I do this?
And Adam lost a personal bet with me. We're
I
not going to
lost
get
a
into
bet
that
with
one.
Steven,
How do I
so
do this,
I
Steve?
owed him a scratch off.
We need a coin. Something
Well, I
metal.
can just do that.
Okay, then just scratch. Okay, let's.
Yeah, I don't know how these things work.
You have to read them all. All right.
You literally don't. You could just
You
scan
scratch
it and
even
see
one-
if it
Yeah, I
works.
know, but it's not as fun.
You scratch every one of them.
Yeah, scratch all of them.
You scratch all
There's
of
a
them.
winning number at the very top, and you have to match it to something else. Where the cat is.
Wait, so I scratch all of them though?
Yes. Start with the cat, though. That's your winning number.
Oh yeah, I do need a coin. That's not gonna
When he's
work.
on the metal.
Yeah, we need some. Oh, here you go.
Ooh, pretty gay.
Ooh, yeah. Take a
A
top.
little pop top.
Thank you, Four Noses, for helping us out with the scratch offs here. All right.
All right, I know this is exhilarating for you guys.
My
but
winning number is 38. Now let's try to match some
Wow.
stuff.
Okay.
My
Alright.
winning number is 75.
So you have to scratch.
Ooh.
Do you scratch every single one?
Yes.
You
yes,
can,
you do.
can or you can't. I don't. It doesn't really matter because if you scan the back of it,
Yeah, it'll
it,
tell you
it
what-
will tell
yeah,
you what
yeah.
if you won or not.
But that's not fun.
But that's not fun.
Oh,
If
I
you-
got a winning number.
Uh-oh. Hold up.
Oh.
We have to go back to Colorado.
Wait.
75, 75.
75.
So you get a prize.
What is that? $100,000?
Probably $4.
Oh, is it on the back or what?
Or you might have won $500. Nope.
$5.
$5.
$5.
Adam, you're gonna have to go back to him.
Colorado, you can keep that.
We'll leave that for the state.
Yeah, this sounds like a whole
Wait,
Uh-oh.
lot of activity going on.
I got a bunch of your numbers over here.
yeah.
I promise you, we're scratching off tickets. We're not doing something else.
For people who are listening, they're like, "This is the most boring thing ever."
If we
I'm
got like a
watching-
jackpot on here,
Watching people do scratch offs. That would be a
We can always cut this one. This is a Twitch stream right here.
Well, while they're scratching their scratch offs off, I will say just a big shout out to all of the sponsors and the companies that we worked with to help make this possible. If you have followed along the series by any means, you've seen some of the companies that we've worked with, and we're really excited to work with them in the future. And they made a lot of this possible. So it helps us a ton if you help support them, and if you're interested in any of the companies that we worked with and their products. In all the videos, we've got links to discount codes and different different links to the companies. So
Yep.
we definitely appreciate it if you check them
New-
out and help support
Yep.
everyone that we're working with.
New merch line, Blue Line Flies are out.
Yeah.
Short bus new merch. Wildfly's got a new merch line as well.
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. Lots of ways for you guys to support. If you like what we're doing, please. Even if you don't like the merch, buy something for a friend. I don't know, buy a Christmas gift. If you watch this, you might fly fish. You could buy some flies. You could buy
Can't
a
go
Blue
wrong
Line
with some
hat.
flies.
Everyone has a head. You could put a hat on that head that says Wildfly on it. Like, freaking roll.
Yeah.
But seriously, all the short bus merch sales go straight back into the bus. I mean, that's big for us. If you guys like seeing these videos, you like what we're doing, you like watching anything that we put out, it's huge for us. And just like Scotty just said too, help our sponsors out. If you guys like what we're doing, I mean, there's so many avenues of ways that you could help us with that. Between G. Loomis rods, Costa glasses, Sims. If you guys like what we're doing and you need a new pair of anything, consider going with one of those brands first for us. That means a lot. Means a lot to us.
I think it was
Free Steve.
Yeah, free Steve, baby.
Free
we're
Steve.
gonna get there. I think too at the meetup it was really cool to see so many fans that showed up with gear, with merch already
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really cool way too for not only for us to see and for people to rep and support us, but also when you guys are out on the river and you maybe run into someone who's wearing a short bus hat or a Blue Line hat or a Wildfly shirt or something like that. I think it's really cool for you guys to be able to interact and have that connection, even though you maybe don't know each other. Like, oh, you watch this or you watch that, and I think that's a really cool connection.
The
as
short
well.
bus diaries is kind of like if you know, you know.
Yeah, it's if you know.
Yeah,
you know.
it really
There's a
is.
lot of inside jokes
Yeah,
that if you're not in the loop, you're kind of like, what the fuck?
What is that? Why do you have a bus on your hat?
Yeah.
But
Why is
yeah.
it painted in such
what's
bizarre
happening
colors?
there?
That old dude that I was talking to about the Hog Island this trip said, "Yeah, I saw that bus with a Norwegian flag on it." I was like, okay, I didn't take that one away from it, but
I don't think that was it, but sure, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Norwegia for the flag.
That's where
mean-
where
you mean
Finelger comes from.
Norway?
my
Nope,
last name.
I sure don't.
Fair enough.
They're Norwegian.
We'll make it to Norway
Norwegia.
one day.
All right, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Short bus in Norway.
No wins in the scratch off, guys.
Yeah, how'd we do?
Yes,
B1
$5.
I won $5.
Five
Brian
bucks.
wins
We have to go back
$5.
to
I am
Colorado for him.
So you broke even. right?
donating
it.
that to Colorado. That's it.
Leave that with me. I might drive.
You
over
might
there.
drive it.
I might drive.
Yeah,
over
buy
there.
me
Just
another
get
one when we go
$5 back. I might
Yeah.
drive over to Colorado. But you ever seen people go to do the scratch offs and they get them and they don't even scratch them? They just hand them
Oh,
straight
yeah.
back and get them to scan it.
When I was buying that, that's what the dude did in front of me.
Funny.
Well, there
That's
you go.
awesome.
He was like, I think he wanted like 150. He's like, all right, let me get like 2 more 10s and some beer. And I was like, my man.
Wow, that's sick.
All right, final
So
words.
Let's wrap her up.
Yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching and listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. And if you followed
Thanks.
along with the series, thank you so much. We've put a lot of work into this.
Sorry for wasting your time.
Sorry for wasting your time. Hope everyone has a great 2022.
I've got something. We've got more brewery meetups planned. This one was definitely a trial run. If you came to this one, things might have been a little shaky. We've got better plans.
If you missed this one,
If you missed this one, though, we are planning some more. Stay tuned on our channels, whatever, we'll be talking about it. But we'll have a lot more of these planned. Follow the Short Bus Diaries Instagram. We've been posting good stuff on there at Short Bus Diaries. That's going to be really hard for you to remember. And definitely try to come out to one of the brewery events because it was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah.
Everyone that we talked to said that they had a blast, even though that one was a little bit of a shit show just from our end.
Yeah.
Being the first
It
one we've
turned out
ever
great,
done.
though.
I think we're going to have it dialed in by the end of next
We've
year.
got
Yeah.
some cool things in the works. So it's
Yes.
going to be more than just a meet and greet. I think there's
Yes.
some cool stuff. So
yeah,
y'all definitely pay attention and let us know
Yep.
what town you want us to come
Yep.
to next.
If you missed this one, let us know. If you own a brewery, have an event center that you would like to host something, reach out to me. So we'd love to get something put on the books for you.
There you go. Well, boys,
There it
cheers. Short Bus Volume 3 in the
Cheers.
works or in the books.
Yeah, boys.
Got it done
To number 4.
to number 4.
See you
We'll
next
see you
time.
guys then. Alrighty.